What happened? What's wrong with Shiyu? Su Xing's anxiously asked. Elder sister Shiyu, before Lan Tianyu could speak, they heard the mountain gate jolt. Several dozen rays of escape light soared up in front of Su Xing. Has the purple thunder monster arrived? 100 cultivators appeared. The old woman in the lead was about to launch into a furious lecture upon hearing the purple thunder monster, but upon seeing Su Xing's party, she was immediately shocked into speechlessness. With a cold tone, she said, "Who are you? What business do you have with my sect?" "Your servant is Su Xing, Shiyu's close friend." "Just what has happened to her?" Su Xing's tone was ice cold. His divine intent was released, rolling like a tidal wave. Despite Su Xing's supercluster middle stage, his contracts with multiple star maidens made his divine intent abnormally formidable. Even the supercluster stage Old Mother Soulless was somewhat uncomfortable. This old lady's expression was grim. She gripped her cane and shouted. "You monster, you deceived my daughter without saying a thing and even wanted to kill her. Now, you have come to find her, what do you take my daughter for?" As she spoke, Old Mother Soulless raised a scythe. Dense, black chi surged down, heavy as Mount Tai. The pitch-black shafted sickle's blade glinted with an abnormal, eerie black light. An enormous divine devil form roared continuously, carrying in the middle the shrieks and wails of these countless ghosts. Indeed, it was extremely frightening, making other people already terrified before they even fought. Just as that scythe swung down with unimaginable speed. This slash was absolute. Even if one was made of iron, they would be cleaved in two, especially with the ghost blades on top supplementing it, corroded primordial spirits, extraordinarily vicious. Without even looking, Su Xing's Langia spun, releasing evil-suppressing clear light. They slowly emerged above that scythe, nothing fancy in the midst of them, flying gracefully by. Talisman script was glimpsed, and the evil-suppressing clear light magnified. The evil-suppressing gem scripts countless characters densely wove into a net of light, trapping the scythe. This black scythe cut into it. As if it was caught in cotton, the softness was strained. Su Xing struck a hand seal. After he blocked this attack, the Langia swords continuously changed, splitting off into 10 more identically sized copies, forming an elaborate sword array that attacked the divine devil form. 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. Old Mother Soulless was stunned. She recognized this thing. This 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo restrained devil attacks. The Langia sword's evil-suppressing clear light drifted endlessly, like smoke and mist, their might exceptional, specialized in restraining all things evil. Old Mother Soulless, soul-birthing scythe, was refined with the aid of soul-birthing yin energy. Although the divine devil form it gathered into was ruthless and cruel, it nevertheless did not dare touch the attacking Langia flying swords. Its figure continuously evaded without stopping. Its massive body seemed to be weightless, suddenly stepping in and back, shuttling back and forth. Its speed was oddly fast, and Su Xing's Langia sword array temporarily was surprisingly unable to even touch the skin of this divine devil form. After all, it was Supervoid stage, so to face it was not so easy. The soul-birthing scythe's Asura devil form's body was somewhat close to a true spirit, exceptionally quick. From time to time, it availed itself the intervals between Langia's attacks when it evaded to slash with the sickle. Its ghost chi was deep, extremely formidable, but to hurt Su Xing was a fantasy. A duel between a supervoid cultivator and supercluster cultivator was supposed to be suspenseless, but in the face of the restraints by Su Xing's evil-suppressing flying swords, Old Mother Soulless had no choice. The flying swords crossed and temporarily stiffened. Old Mother Soulless sneered, flipping through hand seals. The black chi was like a tide, and her flying swords filled the skies, turning to threads. Su Xing pushed the air, not bothering with her trouble. Space manifested a golden lotus, directly washing away the black chi. Lin Yingmei, Wu Xiao, and the others did not say another word. They raised their unstoppable destined star weapons. When the top-notch martial generals released their auras, each and every one of the illusion reality sect's cultivators froze as if a blade was held to their backs. Do not kill mother. Lan Tianyu was frightened stiff. Quickly inform me just what happened to Shiyu. Su Xing landed in front of old mother soulless, menacing. His expression seemed to want to eat her alive. This was the first time that this supervoid great cultivator had been defeated like this. But this old mother soulless shouted, even if this old woman dies, this old body will not hand her daughter over to you. Seeing her so protective of Shiyu, Su Xing's previous hostility ebbed a bit, but he was not clear about Shiyu's status. He worried that she had encountered danger. His flying swords attacked, and the evil suppressing clear light pierced old mother soulless into a retreat. If you do not answer, then do not blame me when I flip over your sect. Su Xing sternly said. He honestly seemed very much like the image of a monster with incredible powers. Elder sister Shiyu is at the Black Flame Mountain, she is unhurt. Lan Tianyu promptly said. Black Flame Mountain? Su Xing nodded. He stared at old mother soulless, your servants Su Xing and Shiyu are friends. I will not hurt her. When Shiyu absolutely insists on marrying no one but you, are you really only friend? Do you take this old body for a mere child? Old mother soulless sneered. With a boom, the illusion reality sex array activated. That is your choice to not believe. I naturally will save Shiyu and take her away. If you truly have good faith, then bring out proof. Words are meaningless, everyone is capable of sweet talk. Old mother soulless yelled. The 100-soul birthing flying swords roared together. The supercluster stage's intimidation was unexcelled. How would you have me prove it? Su Xing said. The Black Flame Mountain is this sect's first mountain. If you truly care for my daughter, then you alone must descend the mountain and bring her out. Then this old body shall acknowledge you. Old mother soulless sneered, naturally unconvinced that one star master could achieve this. For a star master without his star generals to face that wretched environment, his life or death was difficult to determine. So long as he was a bit smart, he ought to know what to do. Old mother soulless said this also to make Shiyu clearly see reality, to see the true face of the man before her. But old mother soulless was destined to be surprised. Fine, however, I have one request. Su Xing agreed without hesitation. What request? If I rescue her, from this moment forth, you may not interfere with Shiyu. Su Xing coldly said. He had once heard Shiyu mention her past with the Black Turtle territory, and he knew that some of the illusion reality sect had treated Shiyu with kindness great as a mountain. It was because of this that Su Xing did not immediately turn hostile. Old Mother 11, you vacillated indeterminately, this old body promises you. Lord husband. Wu Xiao and the others were somewhat worried and wanted to stop him. Wu Xinji shook her head at them, hinting at them to not worry. The Knowledge Star had always felt that Shiyu and Su Xing's relationship was somewhat unclear. This was the perfect chance to advance their relationship to the next step. Regarding infatuated women, Wu Xinjie was very happy to add more sisters. Mother, I shall guide this young master. Lan Tianyu said. Lord husband, if these people show anything strange, your servant shall kill them to the last man. Wu Xiao calmly said. These words made the illusion reality sect's 100 cultivators pale in the face, yet they said nothing. The star maidens in front of them had an imposing aura that was honestly too fierce. They had no doubts at all that their counterpart could achieve it. Old Mother Soulless did not say a word. Su Xing went with Lan Tianyu to Black Flame Mountain. Along the way, Lan Tianyu explained what happened to Shiyu, and knowing Shiyu's feelings were so deep, Su Xing's heart truly was conflicted to death. Black Flame Mountain was located at the entrance to the illusion reality sect's back mountain. That place was between water and fire, a very nasty environment, with fierce beasts in great numbers, and Black Flame Mountain had a forbid dance as well, which the illusion reality sect specifically established to punish disciples. Along the way, Black Flame Mountain had 99 roads, the Reality Illusion Array. 2. The so-called Reality Illusion Array was an illusion forbid dance. It would create lifelike fantasy lands, and these fantasies were abnormally ferocious, torturing people into wishing for death. For this reason, Black Flame Mountain was completely the same as hell in the eyes of the disciples. If Su Xing truly could bring Shiyu out from such an evil place, then he truly would need strong determination to be able to achieve this. Determination? Su Xing disdainfully smiled. This, he was long already familiar with. Without any hesitation, Su Xing entered the volcano's cavity. Su Xing placed himself in the darkness. Other than the surrounding temperatures becoming increasingly hot, from time to time, eyes scarlet as blood opened in the darkness and eyed him greedily. It truly gave people the feeling that they were in hell. The surrounding mountain caves were increasingly large. This tunnel entrance was already as tall as one or even two people. The blood-red eyes inside were increasingly ferocious, the glint of bloodlight concentrating killing intent. Countless empty caverns linked together, and the air reeked of blood, as if it was becoming increasingly concentrated. Even during the course of his descent, he faintly heard a soft chewing sound that he could not pinpoint the source of, as if some unknown beast was tearing and swallowing food. It sounded hair-raising and bone-chilling. This Black Flame Mountain was out of the ordinary, as expected. Just entering the cave mouth, he could sense a powerful pressure. Without Lin Yingmei and the others nearby, Su Xing's mind generally felt that something was missing. Stretching his whole body's muscles taut, he practically could hear his own pulses' subtle timing. Suddenly, from the darkness below, Su Xing abruptly felt an intense wind blow up from beneath his feet. Stemming practically from a sort of instinct, he moved as he pleased. The moment his flying swords touched that body in the whistling wind, they moved away 3 chi to the sides. Pa! 3. There was an enormous sound, a reflecting glimmer. The darkness depths seemed to have something akin to a tentacle that was incomparably large, swiping past Su Xing's body like a whip and striking heavily against the pitch-black rock face. The entire volcano chamber appeared to jolt. Earth was sent flying with a crumbling sound, sending large and small rocks crashing downwards. A moment later, a severe shout suddenly came from the abyss. The rock face reverberated, wildly calling without stop. Su Xing was immensely surprised. Turning his head to look, he saw that giant demon-like tentacle surprisingly had slammed a giant hole into the rock wall. After writhing for a few moments, it retracted. Su Xing actually sucked in a breath. He felt a faint wind pounce against his face. The enormous black tentacle rolled out from within the cavern, completely untrackable in the darkness. Su Xing moved away. He evaded the black tentacle. But the surrounding countless caverns seemed to come alive at this moment. Innumerable tentacles flew out from the caverns. In that deep darkness beneath Su Xing's feet, the abyss had not visible bottom. He truly did not know how many morbid things were hidden below. Su Xing raised a flying sword. Due to heaven tearing being destroyed by the first overlord, it required time to recuperate. He could only rely on Langia, but Langia's evil suppressing clear light was clearly not too useful. With no choice, he used Heavenly Abyss. The 12 Heavenly Abyss swords defended like a mountain range, blocking the pounces of the countless tentacles. Su Xing dropped his speed even more quickly. Suddenly, an air-shattering noise rose from below. Su Xing was startled again, and he promptly looked down, only to see that within the darkness below his feet, a firelight had suddenly flashed. Instantly, the surrounding air temperature climbed fiercely. That firelight turned big, and the gale and heatwave accompanying it screamed over. Ducking to the side, Su Xing's complexion slightly changed. It was surprisingly a fire dragon. It reared its head and hissed. From those depths, a surging roar directly rushed up. He looked at the fire dragon. It had a horn and scales, and its whole body surged with intense flames, illuminating the dark cave with a thorough red. At this moment, the fire dragon was considerably ferocious in both body size and power. Su Xing did not know if this was a function of the reality illusion array, but right now naturally was not the time for detailed thinking. Noticing that the fire dragon was turning sinister, a heat wave filled the sky. Instantly, it was in front of him, unexpectedly too sharp to block. Su Xing used wandering the clear skies, dodging the tip. The flying sword magic weapons glowed. It entirely released light that enveloped Su Xing, but this fire dragon's might was too great. Under this form, it immediately pressed down these magic weapon lights. Suddenly, it sunk. Su Xing was practically pushed backwards at the same time by the enormous fire wave. A moment later, bang, 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 it slammed against the rocks. The fire dragon rushed straight into the sky, its leftover might shocking. So incredible. It's not a fire dragon. Su Xing's back slammed hard into the cliff face, and he grimaced from the pain. I don't have time for you. Su Xing attacked with Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. A net of purple thunder covered it. Just at this moment, that rocketing fire dragon turned back, violently hissing. Its power charged downwards like wild thunder. In this plunge from high to low, its might was even more shocking. Su Xing grit his teeth, tightly clenched together a hand seal, and he moved to the side quickly in midair, evading that fierce fire dragon. His right hand pointed and used the purple thunder dragon slaying. A bolt of purple thunder shot over like a sword, directly taking the dragon's neck. That fire dragon cried. Its dragon eyes spewed flames as they spun. The huge front left claw was raised, nevertheless blocking the Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder's attack. Su Xing was slightly stunned, feeling that the heat wave seemed to burn and roll. He could only dodge immediately. The fire dragon was unforgiving. It continuously spewed fire at him. At this moment, Su Xing coldly shouted, illuminated above the abyss by the fire dragon. He used the innate Bagua escape technique, and the Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder flourished, blossoming with countless purple lotuses fluttering across the whole sky. The rain of flowers was mournful, plunging down towards the fire dragon's immense head. In the flames, the fire dragon roared again. Its right talon scratched. The purple lotus flowers filling the sky were suddenly repelled by its strike, but Su Xing was not done yet. His fingers snapped, and the instant frost flame sprayed out. The surrounding caverns instantly froze over, pushing down the fire dragon by one zhang. This fire dragon was formidable, relentlessly belching raging flames from its mouth. Su Xing's eyes widened. He sprung away, and when he was in midair, his hands pushed against the air. Golden light instantly glowed bright, and his palms were completely golden light, nearly transparent. The meditative mind lotus flower bloomed, and the cavern was filled with bright golden light. Su Xing himself was even more solemn than a Butsit statue. From far away, he seemed like a Buddhist monk. But upon seeing his fierce glare, like a demon-destroying Vajras, his might was overwhelming. In midair, his body manifested lightning and golden light. Wherever he passed, there was an enormous rumbling sound. One palm struck apart the hard rock face. Instantly, the originally hard as steel cavern walls unexpectedly caved in within a range of close to 4 zhang. Su Xing pinched together a hand seal, using the Akala Wisdom King chant. The heavenly abyss flying swords reflected the golden light, too glaring to look at, but Su Xing shouted. All of the golden lights suddenly receded, gathering into one enormous golden light that shot towards that fire dragon. This power was not small at all. Despite the fire dragon's matchless ferocity, when it was struck, it was knocked silly. Add on that Su Xing's Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder and instant Frost Flame's pincer attack, under these two strikes, the fire dragon let out a long howl. Its voice shook all directions, but it was still powerless to resist in the end. It fell, descending into the darkness below. Su Xing's strike was complete. His figure slightly wavered as he hovered in the air. Before Su Xing could take a breath, he heard every sort of ghastly demonic scream. Su Xing spied out of the corner of his eye a large crowd of souls. He spotted that devil-like giant tentacle from just a moment ago had unexpectedly again charged up. This time, however, it was even more direct in moving to swat him downwards. The sound of the wind scraped painfully against his face. Su Xing promptly put up a defense. Heavenly abyss spun into a shield of swords, letting out a completely white light. These disembodied souls were more and more numerous, like a storm. The mountain cave's black wind intensified, like an endless void about to devour Su Xing. Su Xing knew that if this continued, there perhaps would be no end. Immediately, the green light of the Langia flying sword spun in a circle, twisting apart the spirits. Then, he used Heavenly Abyss as a shield, directly falling into the bottom of the cavern. He did not know how much time passed before an open area appeared as he arrived at a valley. Suddenly, a white square-shaped object appeared to the side of the road ahead. Su Xing's gaze focused. He stared at it, yet it was just a stone tablet. Upon it was carved 2 rows, 8 characters total. The black flame forbid dance. Disciplined soul, receive punishment. Upon seeing those 8 characters, Su Xing's brow wrinkled. His heart was increasingly uncomfortable. He wondered what happened to Shiyu. Although he had heard Lan Tianyu say Shiyu was locked inside for only a short time, a day would drag on like a year in this forbid dance. Hesitating a moment, he subsequently sneered. He lifted a foot and walked past this stele. Although that tablet appeared normal and innocuous, it apparently was a place that divided boundaries. After he passed the stele, he did not know how, but although the path still curved onwards, large slabs of flaming rock had appeared on either side. First, the green grass on the ground gradually faded, then the short shrubs, and finally even the originally dense forest on both sides slowly became sparse. Let alone that the ground had begun to crack, even the remaining few trees and branches unexpectedly became shriveled. This actually appeared as if the surroundings were in drought, as if the earth had been burnt to a crisp. Su Xing saw that this should be the volcano's bottom. What else was there if not the 99 Paths reality illusion array? Su Xing's mind brainstormed. He followed the narrow path and made the last turn. All of a sudden, his decisiveness could not help but be as shaken lost his body. In front of him appeared a large open space. A heat wave that came from who knows where blew over and hit him in the face. At the center of the open space was a large circular altar. It hung suspended in the air, and 13 pillars constructed of dark red stones stretched to a height of 3 zhang propped up the entire altar. Along the altar's inner edge were 12 dark red pillars. Each was wide enough that 2 people were needed to span it, and at the center was the thickest stone pillar. It looked to be at least 5 or 6 people wide. From far away, this altar was practically an enormous burning flame, sticking straight into the heavens. Su Xing stood under this altar. He was practically like a bug, extremely insignificant. Su Xing took a deep breath. This structure in front of him really was shocking, the work of gods, but perhaps it was fully worthy of being placed here. He could not imagine that there surprisingly would be such a grandly developed construct under a volcano. Powerful heat waves rolled and burned. Su Xing felt his strength quickly drain away, and the magic energy of his body seemed about to disappear completely. Just as Su Xing was preparing to fly to the top of the altar, suddenly, the altar's 13 pillars twinkled with light. An enormous star crest appeared in the center, and a flame ignited. The stones that seemed to suck in the entire altar's flames finally became a malevolent beast of fire. It was larger than ordinary fire beasts, and the gems that were its eyes were like a net. A red light flowed like blood. Stupid human, you dare step into this place. Are you so willing to die by me, roasting essence? This flame beast issued an awe-inspiring roar. It could speak human language. This actually made Su Xing very surprised. If he was not wrong, this ought to be this altar's guardian beast. The flame beast named Roasting Essence slowly strolled. It noticed Su Xing and proceeded to jeer. Can an insignificant supercluster middle stage cultivator kill me? Naive cultivator, the blood currently over this entire altar is your tomb. If you've finished saying your last words, now's my turn. Su Xing smirked. His figure flashed, and spell arrays appeared in his hands. Roasting Essence roared. The ground suddenly let out a wall of shadow. The other flame beasts launched attacks. Su Xing pointed a finger. His flying swords were like 10,000 arrows fired at once, as more than 100 rays of sword chi swept clean the surrounding obstructions. Sharp blades followed upwards, and Su Xing also used his own ice-cold hands to rip apart Roasting Essence's powers. 2 flame beasts disappeared, dissolving into the miserable night. Su Xing's hands cross-slashed. 2 large-scale heavenly abyss arrays suddenly glowed in the darkness. A howling sound suddenly echoed. 2 flame beasts surged forward. Nevertheless, Roasting Essence charged. Its body was a flame that could reduce anything to ashes with just the slightest touch. Su Xing sneered. His figure flew out, like a ray of light. Su Xing aimed at Roasting Essence's eyes. His fingers snapped, and a powerful purple mansion immortal thunder threw apart the surrounding smaller flame beasts as he shot directly at Roasting Essence's pupils. A red barrier rose like a net, and the purple mansion immortal thunder was quickly dissolved. Roasting Essence already arrived in front of Su Xing. It opened its big mouth. Su Xing was calm and composed. His hands once again crossed. The 12 heavenly abyss shut like floodgates. Roasting Essence slammed against them head-on, and when Roasting Essence finally beat Heavenly Abyss open, Su Xing had already destroyed the other flame beasts. Here's a gift. Su Xing once again launched Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder, and 10,000 bolts of thunder were released simultaneously. Roasting Essence bellowed like thunder. The launched Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder were torn apart by a visible shadow. Go, Su Xing ordered. The flying swords quickly retreated. Loud noises exploded behind him one after another. The shadow that Roasting Essence had created ruthlessly chased him like a viper. Without any chance to catch his breath, shadow-like murderous aura pressed in from all 4 sides. Roasting Essence's speed was simply suffocating. Su Xing's leg wound once again hurt. He slightly slowed, and then he heard Roasting Essence's shout. Got you now, cultivator. Su Xing's speed was already quick, but this flame beast Roasting Essence's speed was like gods and devils randomly appearing and disappearing. By the time he heard these words, scorching heat already began to his skin. Su Xing spun around, and only then did he discover the urgency of his situation. He had not refined many of his magic weapons, so he did not have any good magic weapons to use. Fuck. He could only put everything on the line. Su Xing's eyes widened. He finally seized onto the faint red trajectory. He slashed with flying sword, directly stabbing into Roasting Essence's eyes. Roasting Essence roared. His figure wildly emitted malevolence. The vestiges of Roasting Essence's flames were sharper than a blade. Su Xing did not want to go bear this attack, so he withdrew his sword and retreated, a devilish grin hanging upon his face as he struck hand seals. Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder burst forth and eradicated his silhouette of flames, killing Roasting Essence completely. Before he could relax, Su Xing suddenly felt an extremely cold feeling spread from his neck up and down his whole body. Immediately, a trail of blood sprayed out from his carotid artery. Piping hot blood subsequently sprayed out of his other cold body parts in succession. Su Xing turned his head to look and immediately turned grave. An odd monster holding a weapon had strangely appeared. One hand held a whip, another a soul-absorbing trident. It appeared strange and grotesque, its whole body surging with blood chi and flames. Su Xing choked. Blood sacrifice soul-absorbing trident skin flaying torture heavenly whip. Isn't this the bloody Asura that escaped when I faced the gardener's murder in 5? Now, the bloody Asura was full of strictness, just like a demon, but it had intelligence. Su Xing did not know how this bloody Asura appeared here, but it did not let him think. The bloody Asura already howled, recognizing its nemesis. It was exceptionally furious and immediately attacked. The bloody Asura originally took the fires of extreme earthly lung as nourishment and did not expect to encounter Su Xing. Without another word, it attacked. The next moment, the bloody Asura already flew past him, shooting directly towards the Su Xing in front of it with its weapons. This star beast did not have any excess movements. Its technique was incomparably fierce. Su Xing was left with no choice but to raise his right hand. In a split second, a giant half-moon-shaped purple mansion immortal thunder blade broke free of his arm. The purple blade's edge slightly distorted the air that was of a different density. This purple mansion immortal thunder continuously crackled. In the end, it became an air-ripping translucent rain. It completely sealed all of the bloody Asura's paths of movement, pouncing towards its prey with a shrill howl. But the bloody Asura apparently was ruthlessly cool and calm. Perhaps this kind of star beast completely did not know what fear was called after it went berserk. Taking advantage of after the fact, the soul-absorbing trident slashed apart the purple mansion immortal thunder's sneak attack. But Su Xing's attack had already arrived. Even without the heaven-tearing sword's combat power, Su Xing's boxing was still formidable. An annoying scene occurred. The bloody Asura shouted, and its body split into 7 or 8 shadows that appeared real. These shadows were not very threatening to Su Xing's attack, but what made Su Xing annoyed was that this split-second cloning nevertheless was instantaneous, displaying speed to the extreme. Regardless of how powerful attack was, it was for naught. The bloody Asura appeared to be not stupid. Facing Su Xing's oppressive punches, it continually used every sort of move to dodge. Suddenly, that skin-flaying torture heavenly whip in this bloody Asura's hand flew out, instantly drawing a brilliant blood-red light in front of it. The surroundings surprisingly rolled with an intense line of blood. Rolling over like a viper. Su Xing retreated. The next moment, the bloody Asura was already charging Su Xing at high speed. It unfolded its wings. Its speed was very fast, pulling its entire body into a specter, with even a bloody wind behind it. Su Xing basically did not withdraw. He made a powerful step forward, his pace very steady, completely fearless of the opponent's might before him. Instantly, both of them made contact already. An enormous force ran through. The bloody Asura was narrowly sent flying by this force. Although it immediately rushed in, it had already lost the initiative. Su Xing's pace pressed heavily onwards, his horse stance unflustered. One punch closely followed another. Although his speed was not very quick at all, each strike could target a different body part. He simplified any flashy movements. All of the attacks he used came on the heels of the one before, forcing the bloody Asura into a corner completely. But this normal punch nevertheless contained powerful strength. When he fought the first overlord, Su Xing himself had battled with strength star Lu Yuyu. At that time, he really was not thinking of playing hero. Rather, an exchange of blows with a true Phoenix Realm combat star general was very powerful in advancing himself. He benefited from even a few blows. Su Xing's state of mind was increasingly calm. His punches were neither urgent nor slow, but this attack absolutely did not look that simple or ordinary. Each punch and quick was heavier than the last. An astral wind had unwittingly rolled slowly up. The purple mansion immortal thunder had sublimated into his boxing, appearing very shocking. The bloody Asura promptly used the whip and soul-absorbing trident. Even if Su Xing's fists were powerful, he could not block a star weapon. Traces of blood appeared on his fists, making Su Xing's speed slow down. The bloody Asura seemed to have spotted its chance. Su Xing retreated backwards, spat out essence blood, and reversed golden gloves appeared on his fists. Then, his smooth and flowing boxing technique was displayed. Each punch and kick seemed as easy as lifting weights, played down. Each strike carried a forceful astral wind. Shockingly, this was the essence of boxing. The rolling wind pressure struck the bloody Asura into a continuous retreat. Its eyes could not catch on, as if Su Xing's shadows were far more numerous than its own. Slowing, Su Xing's fists suddenly changed into claws, instantly grabbing hold of the bloody Asura's arm. Pulling it closer, he already completely entered the enemy's inside range. At such a close distance, any weapon would not function as usefully as a person's body. Su Xing had already lost count of the number of times he had used this, and he could be said to be an expert. Su Xing's entire person became a very frightening man-shaped weapon. Every part of his body was a weapon, particularly his shoulders. Exchanging continuous strikes, his enormous power was like a tidal wave that repeatedly attacked the bloody Asura's body. It knocked bloody Asura's weapon defense around like a puppet, completely leaving it unable to make any movements. It was caught in rigidity, and the two destined star weapons in its hands lost all usefulness. Even though it held it in its hands, it had no way to counterattack at all at such a close distance. It helplessly took the beating. Su Xing shouted out of all a sudden. He abruptly stomped the ground, and the surrounding surface seemed to roll like a wave, truly as if there was an earthquake. The altar tottered on the edge of collapse, and the flames rolled. Not good. Although the bloody Asura sensed it, it was unable to move. Its body seemed shudder all over, no longer able to maintain balance. Su Xing took this chance to immediately use a dragon punch. Power erupted, and a true spirit flew out from his fist that repeatedly struck the bloody Asura's chest. After several muffled thuds, in the end, it unexpectedly had a faint dragon cry. Immediately afterwards was the last strike. The bloody Asura once again became a cannonball, flying directly into the air. After it drew a parabola, it landed heavily onto the ground. Su Xing took a deep breath. His combat training was not in vain. His first action was very good. The bloody Asura jumped up and roared. It spat a green light, and the skin-flaying torture heavenly whip attacked. Then, black light flashed, disappearing without a trace. Su Xing whirled around, meeting the fierce counterattack of the bloody Asura that got back up. After battling with true Phoenix Realm Star General, the current bloody Asura's speed was merely so. Bang! Su Xing's silhouette abruptly spun around, and his iron leg swept ruthlessly like a whip at the bloody Asura's lower body. A loud noise was let out, and Su Xing's powerful strength once again took overwhelming advantage. The bloody Asura's body completely could not maintain balance, surprisingly directly sent flipping through the air. Intense pain instantly engulfed its whole body. The bloody Asura screamed. Firelight and bloodlight intertwined. The soul-absorbing trident was thrown even more directly. Su Xing's flying sword stopped it. The bloody Asura attempted to ripple the bloodlight over its whole body. Evil suppressing clear light suppressed the bloodlight. Su Xing drew near, lightning quick. Su Xing's body instantly spun in a circle, and his other leg already mercilessly stepped onto the bloody Asura's body, ruthlessly launching it away. Su Xing's eyes flashed with ice-cold light. Raising an escape technique, he followed like a shadow. A pair of iron fists were waved, fast as a meteor. A terrifying sound continuously resounded between the two. The bloody Asura's howls were increasingly loud, already completely unable to control itself. At a distance of more than several hundred meters, under Su Xing's wild attack, the bloody Asura could not even make any defensive maneuvers. It could only rely on its own sturdy as a mountain body to endure. Now, it finally knew how frightening the opponent it faced was. Intense pain made the bloody Asura basically unable to launch any counterattacks. The large expanse of bloodlight burst forth and sprinkled into the air. The crimson color was shocking to the eye, mixing into the fragments of dust fluttering in the air, drawing a long bloody arc suddenly. He grasped the bloody Asura's forehead. Su Xing fiercely kicked it in the abdomen. The powerful strength kicked the bloody Asura practically into a line. The entire thing looked ghastly to the extreme. Great amounts of blood sprayed from it in all directions. Su Xing's fists once again used the dark technique heaven and earth reversed, curiously grabbing back the bloody Asura that was about to escape again. The bloody Asura felt itself very strange. Su Xing's instantaneous punch had already struck the blood Asura several dozen times in succession. His movements were linked together viciously. Exploding, following his attack progression, Su Xing's right hand violently threw it aside. Once again, he spun and forcefully threw his leg out. He mercilessly sent the bloody Asura flying like a cannonball, penetrating a stone pillar far away. It basically did not expect Su Xing as a star master surprisingly could be so frightening in close combat. The bloody Asura howled. In its fury, it blindly waved its weapons. Su Xing sneered. He grabbed it by the throat and struck the bloody Asura's face into contorting with his other fist. The bloody Asura's whole body was bloody. Its mouth and nose ran like rivers. A large amount of blood flowed and dripped continuously, as if it was a corpse. The blood's flow signified it was losing strength. The bloody Asura finally fell limply onto the ground. Its appearance was just like prey drawing its last breath. Dying in grief. Perhaps the bloody Asura itself did not expect it would be beaten to the point that it was completely unable to retaliate by a Star Master. It struggled to rise, yet it was firmly trapped by Su Xing's fists. The bloody Asura saw that it could not beat Su Xing. Finally, it renounced thoughts of vengeance and spun around to flee. Its body let out a disgusting smell, spread its wings and flew towards the altar. Su Xing promptly pursued it. After several moments, halfway up the altar, Su Xing suddenly spotted a trapped girl. She was Shiyu. This isn't good. This star beast had an idea about Shiyu. Su Xing saw this and used the chaotic tail escape. The bloody Asura's eyes glowed. Just as it thought of eating Shiyu, suddenly, a bloodlight astonishingly appeared in front of it, evil as an Asura. Courting death. Su Xing's fingers snapped, and the flying swords attacked. The bloody Asura shouted. Boom! A sudden explosion. This star beast surprisingly committed suicide. Su Xing did not expect this bloody Asura to surprisingly carry out a self-destruct. The leftover power spread throughout the entire cavern. There was a rumbling sound. A dozen fire jade pillars were shattered. Just as the cave-in was about to bury Shiyu, Su Xing was too late to go retrieve the gardener and the female Yaksha's star weapons, instead quickly arriving in front of Shiyu. He noticed that due to the long time spent in scorching heat and illusion, the water illusion fairy had already lost consciousness. Su Xing snapped his fingers. The wide heavenly abyss shot over and became a cage-like shield that protected Shiyu from the falling rocks. Then, Su Xing carried the girl, rushing upwards. Countless fire dragon at this time soared out of the pillars, pursuing them. Old Mother Soulless gloomily looked indeterminately at Lin Yingmei and the other girls. The illusion reality sect's ancestors whispered in her ears. Old Mother Soulless grunted, and the murderous air in those deep-set eyes faded. Are you all that man's star generals? Old Mother Soulless asked. Lin Yingmei indifferently glanced at her, with not the slightest interest in answering. Wu Xinjie smiled. Are you saying that we cannot? How is this possible? How can the star duels have such an unreasonable thing? Old Mother Soulless grit her teeth, her hoarse voice somewhat sharp. Could it be that Maiden Mountain can begin allowing star masters to contract multiple star generals? And so what if it has? Wu Xinjie declined to comment. Truly preposterous. Is that not even better? This way, you can completely not need to worry about Shiyu. Wu Xinjie said. Would this old body believe a star master? Old Mother Soulless disdainfully said. Everyone knows that there can only be one star master that can survive the 7 stars assembly. This time is different. Do you take this old body for a 3-year-old child? Could it be that there are star masters who would refuse the wish of the star duels? Old Mother Soulless sneered. This old body advises you to come to your senses before it is too late. If you are deceived by that man, you will not be able to recover. Where did this old woman come from? What a mischievous tongue. Wu Xiao coldly smiled. Do you need your servant to help pluck it out? So as not to be so noisy. Old Mother Soulless was somewhat upset. In any case, had a supervoid cultivator like her ever been mocked? However, she knew that these fiend stars were formidable, and she remained gloomily silent. My young lord naturally is not as superficial as you. Wu Xinjie said faintly. Black Flame Mountain has 99 illusions. Without star generals at his side, how far can that man go? Old Mother Soulless said. She was just about to mock them when suddenly at this moment, a ray of light charged into the sky. This light was incomparably blinding. All of the illusion reality sect's cultivators were drawn in by the light. With a look, they were immediately stunned. Impossible. Old Mother's soulless smile disappeared. The escape light arrived before them. Who else could it be but Su Xing? At this moment, Su Xing carried Shiyu in his arms. His body cut somewhat of a sorry figure, with many wounds and burns, and the Shiyu against his chest remained unconscious. Big brother! And Siwen cried out in alarm and hastily rushed forward to heal him. Old Mother soulless faced Su Xing's eyes and was speechless. Can your servant take Shiyu away now? Su Xing calmly said. What else could Old Mother soulless say now? Even if she were to be forceful, that would have absolutely no possibility at all. Old Mother soulless looked at Su Xing and sneered, take her then. In the future, Shiyu naturally will regret today's decision. We will see who's right. Su Xing easily said. We are leaving. Old Mother soulless snorted. She waved her cane, making the 100 disciples leave. Fellow, please take good care of elder sister Shiyu. Lan Tianyu turned her head back, reluctant to part. I will. Su Xing looked at the weak girl in his chest and slightly sighed. Just as Su Xing was about to leave, several powerful black escape lights came over. Su Xing was stunned. The other party also froze. Surprisingly, the newcomer was none other than Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. The current Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was seriously authoritative. He rode upon a dragon chariot. Maids raised lanterns and guardians held swords. He wore demonic black armor and a black dragon cape. His eyes were full of evil light, and the corner of his lips slightly curled. There were also 2 supervoid cultivators beside him. You, Purple Thunder Monster! The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon called out. Before Su Xing could answer, Lin Yingmei's hand waved, and the Arctic Star Serpent's spear appeared in her grip. If we kill another of the Devil Star Palace's Star Masters, Xinjie wonders if that transforming star of annihilation level devil will go mad. Wu Xinjie giggled. Lin Yingmei, Wu Xiao, and Hun Yangzi tacitly moved. How is this possible? Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was astonished. The 2 great supervoid cultivators raised their flying swords in defense. We are leaving. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon drove the chariot into escape without any hesitation. Lin Yingmei had not even planned to use her earth rank to end the battle, but this Holy Lord of Draconic Demon took the lead to flee like a wisp of sorry black smoke. Su Xing was disinclined to pursue. This was the Devil Star Palace's domain. Furthermore, he had just gone through the great battle of the Bright Moon Longevity Palace. Su Xing's side were all exhausted without having any rest. Su Xing did not want to make the beauties even more weary. He called back Lin Yingmei, and they moved north. Only after he could not feel killing intent did Holy Lord of Draconic Demon finally stop. He turned his head back to look. The expressions of the 2 great supervoid cultivators were somewhat disdainful. Is that the Purple Thunder Monster? The old men muttered. Exceptional, as expected. He surprisingly has martial generals like Wu Song, Lin Chong, and Hu Sanyang. Senior True Commandment, Senior Dread Bone. That is the purple monster who has contracted 5 or 6 star generals. This Holy Lord has battled against him before. He also has Gongsun Sheng, who is the number 1 in magic energy. Holy Lord of Draconic Demon said through gritted teeth. He had originally thought that with the support of the Devil Star Palace, he could stir up trouble in the Black Turtle territory. How could he have thought that the first Star Master he would meet was surprisingly one he could not fight and had to run from? This honestly was extraordinary shame and humiliation. These star duels are rather too strange. True Commandment said. Old Man Dried Bones said, Maiden Mountain emitted a rainbow light anomaly a while ago. Could it be they have come for the Purple Thunder Monster? And, that is reasonable. It would be better to return and report to Devil Ancestor for now. True Commandment said. Right, Go ask around, why has that purple thunder monster come to the illusion reality sect? As you bid. After giving his instructions, Ancestor Dried Bones smiled at Holy Lord of Draconic Demon and said, however, Your Highness Holy Lord's flight instead of fight just now honestly makes the Devil Star Palace lose face. If we were to allow Devil Ancestor to know, perhaps this would make Devil Ancestor disappointed. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's complexion changed. He hastily said respectfully, Your servant was ill-mannered. There will be no next time. Elder Dried Bones smiled. He spoke nothing more, but he sighed, these star duels have a variable like the purple thunder monster. It looks like things are not quite fair. Shi Jingluan stood very straight above a dragon carving on the Nine Dragons Palace's highest place, overlooking Nine Dragons City. The large island's range of 100 li was completely taken into her eyes. Minute Star 9 tattooed dragons shut her eyes in contemplation. One hand held the yellow dragon's staff level. After she spun the staff, she suddenly tossed the yellow dragon staff, and it became a yellow dragon that spun around Nine Dragons City, letting out a loud dragon cry, radiating yellow light. Nine Dragon City's populace each were in awe. A while later, the yellow dragon returned to Shi Jingluan's palm, turning into a staff. The Minute Star opened her eyes and licked her dry lips. Not enough, just a little more to comprehend the earth rank. Shi Jingluan narrowed her eyes. Queen Jingluan. Tan Tai Ziyu stepped forward at this time. N? What is the matter? Young Lord Tianya has returned. I know. N. He has returned at the perfect time. Perhaps he can help me comprehend my earth rank technique. Shi Jingluan was pensive. Queen Jingluan, young Lord Tianya is injured. Currently, he is healing in the main hall. Tan Tai Ziyu said. Minute Star Shi Jingluan came to the main hall. She spotted a refined man calmly laying in a chair with his eyes closed in thought. Above his head spun a green gourd. That gourd emitted several wisps of faint green immortal chi, lingering around Lu Tianya's whole body. A spirit light blinding to the eyes surged, and it appeared wondrous. Shi Jingluan knew this green gourd was called Green Nether Gourd, a prehistoric magic weapon. It contained green spirit immortal chi within and was capable of healing, nurturing and recovering spirit chi. This green nether gourd's spirit qi had limits. Ordinarily, even if Lu Tianya was heavily injured, he would hate to use it. Now, seeing him return to Nine Dragons Palace and unexpectedly use the green nether gourd, it appeared that his wounds were very serious. Interesting. Who is it that can make Super Void Sword Saint Lu Tianya cut such a sorry figure? Let me guess, Majestic Star Lin Chong. Shi Jingluan slightly smiled and walked over. Lu Tianya shut his eyes without answering. The green nether gore's light wafted, winding around. A moment alter, Lu Tianya already recovered his wounds. Not only this, the magic energy he had was also even more vigorous than before. This was the effect of the green nether gourd. It could help increase cultivation at the time treatment was performed. If you knew what your servant was up to, then you would not be so relaxed, Queen Jingluan. Lu Tianya shook his head. Shi Jingluan gave him a look that said, Did you think I did not know? I heard you used a change appearance pill and were called forth as a guest by the Crystal Dragon Palace. 2. The Crystal Dragon Palace's treasure banquet is about to begin. It can be assumed that you naturally did not go partying and reminiscing at such a critical time. And I have also heard that the Azure Dragon Territory's 10 great sects most recently secretly surrounded the Purple Thunder monster. I wonder what the result of that was, Lu Tianya, tell me then. Lu Tianya courteously smiled, as expected, nothing escapes you, Queen Jingluan. You privately violated Qingxi's arrangement to go kill the Purple Thunder monster. Were you not afraid your irreverence would provoke a beauty's displeasure? Shi Jingluan thoughtfully smiled. She knew that the Supervoid Sword Saint in front of her was deeply attached to Qingxi. It was a pity that this was completely unrequited. As a star general, things such as emotions were nothing more than a nuisance. That Purple Thunder monster is a scourge. Not only does he have Lin Chong, he also has Wu Song and Hua Rong. Lu Tianya gravely said. What? Instantly, Shi Jingluan's smile vanished. Impossible. Lin Chong, Wu Song, Hua Rong, these elder sisters are each the finest. How can they be following the purple thunder monster? How can what your servant has personally seen be false? Lu Tianya slightly smiled, appreciating Shi Jingluan's astonishment. If it was not for hero star little Li Guang Hua Rong comprehending her earth rank archery, your servant would have now already taken the purple thunder monster's head. How can this be? Shi Jingluan was unable to believe such a preposterous thing. Even more surprising is what came after. Your servant did not go to the Azure Dragon territory in vain this time. Lu Tianya's eyes narrowed into slits. He summarized the Bright Moon Longevity Palace's events. Between solving the Bright Moon Longevity Palace, Su Xing's dozen-star generals, the defeat and failure of the 10 great sects' encirclement, Su Xing's possession of excellent close combat capabilities, each of these made Queen Jingluan stupefied, unable to come to her senses. How can there be such a thing? Can it be said that man is the same as Qingzi, capable of the uprising? Shi Jingluan muttered. Queen, your servant has just received information. The purple thunder monster has appeared in the Black Turtle territory. Tan Tai Ziyu suddenly said. He has come to the Black Turtle territory. Shi Jingluan was stunned. These star duels are interesting. Lu Tianya faintly smiled. It was his turn to relax. Gong Kaiwei looked at the Shiyu against Su Xing's chest. Her brows unconsciously knitted together slightly. The immortal hero princess coldly said, Su Xing, we should part ways here for now. Kaiwei, you won't wait for the Longevity Palace? Gong Kaiwei gently shook her head, the Crystal Dragon Palace's treasure banquet is on the verge of starting. I also have to go back to the palace, we will meet at that time. Su Xing thought for a moment and agreed. Gong Kaiwei wanted to speak but nevertheless stopped. Su Xing oddly asked her what was wrong. Gong Kaiwei paused, slightly exhorting him, be more careful yourself. If you so require it for the matter of Maiden Mountain and the 10 great sects, I shall help you. These words made his heart somewhat warm. Su Xing smiled and nodded. After Gong Kaiwei left, Wu Xinjie winked and strangely said, Young lord, Xinjie has always been unable to understand how a person as cold as the immortal hero princess has such a good relationship with young lord. In the Knowledge Star's impression, the first time she saw Gong Kaiwei was in that tomb with the iron coffins. Afterwards, they made intermittent contact, but each time was short. With the immortal hero princess personality, she was very difficult to elicit a reaction from. Could it be that time in Flower Dragon Cave, something actually happened between young lord and the immortal hero princess? Wu Xinjie covered her mouth and snickered. Don't have random thoughts. And Kaiwei isn't that cold either. Su Xing said. Let's go plan our next step right now. The challengers of Maiden Mountain's trial aren't friendly. For the sake of avoiding Wu Xinjie's continued teasing, Su Xing changed topics. Once he mentioned this, Wu Xinjie showed seldom seriousness. Then, Su Xing entered the immortal's abode to recuperate his wounds. They finally had time to catch their breath after the Bright Moon Longevity Palace. And Siwen began to refine the 1,000-year tears with all her power, and Tang Lianxin helped her sisters forge astral treasures. Ever since Gong Sun Sheng's Phoenix Perching Red Cloud's clothes, and Zhang Yuqi's Fish Intestine Sword shined in the Bright Moon Longevity Palace, the earthly solitary star decided to forge a custom one for all the sisters. This was obviously going to be a great feat of engineering. Thief star Shi Yuan began to design her own prehistoric 5 concealed banners. The martial generals Lin Yingmei, Wu Xiyo, Yan Yizhen, Hun Yangzi, and Hua Wanyue had even simpler plans. They would train their realms. Although they were beginning the 4th phase with Extreme Realm, after learning through the might of the first overlord's true Phoenix Realm, all of the wives were unwilling to fall behind. Wait a moment. Since when was I one of this man's wives? Hua Wanyue was displeased at Wu Xinjie's phrasing during a sparring session. The knowledge star craftily smiled and shuttled from the immortal's abode to the Great Circle Castle to search for materials about the past star duels. Since they already knew that the trials were to be the previous overlords, Wu Xinjie naturally would plan ahead, the so-called know thyself, know thy enemy, to emerge victorious through 100 battles. At the very least, to know the identities of the past overlords was fine, so as to avoid being caught unprepared. And as the husband to these beautiful wives, Su Xing's mission was considerably much more serious. Besides, refining some magic weapons, being taught by Lin Yingmei and the others in martial force training, had become an absolutely necessary assignment. He was repeatedly instructed by the Majestic Star, Harm Star, Skillful Star, Hero Star, and Bright Star. Across all of Liangshan continent, this was considered unprecedented, and his battle doctrine also advanced by leaps and bounds. To use the words of Tang Tang, who loved to brew wine, sooner or later, there will be a day that Papa can surpass these elder sisters. Great Circle Castle. Chai Ling brought Wu Xinjie through a white jade corridor. The noble star's graceful waist made the imagination roam wild, and Wu Xinjie followed behind her with a teasing voice. Little sister Chai Ling, you have appeared very pleased as of late. Did something good happen? Knowledge Star, do you not know? Chai Ling looked back, smiling beautifully. Wu Xinjie shrugged her shoulders, wanting to hear the details. This palace naturally can annul the together to hell with that man. Her fan gently spread open, and Chai Ling's eyes narrowed into crescents. Chai Ling, you have found the location of the Tears of Vega. Wu Xinjie's brows rose. According to the information this palace obtained, this Dragon Palace treasure banquet will auction off a treasure known as 77. 77. Never heard of it. Wu Xinjie said. It seems to be a purple star grade astral treasure obtained from one of this time's birth treasure outline purple star chests. Huh, a purple star grade astral treasure? Wu Xinji was taken aback. It was extremely rare for a purple star chest to show a purple star astral treasure. However, the astral treasures of these chests often were related to the star duels. In the past, the most famous was a twin stars button that came from one of these chests. Knowledge Star, you are so smart. Why not try and guess this 77's function? Chai Ling's eyes showed a cunning glint. Wu Xinjie stroked her chin and muttered, to make noblemen value it so much, it is apparently not simple. Is it a magic weapon to rescind contracts? Chai Ling smiled and nodded. Oh, this is actually convenient. Wu Xinjie said, Xinjie fears the Bright Moon Longevity Palace does not have the Tears of Vega, so this actually saves some trouble. However, this thing is to be used in the star duels, so this palace actually cannot meddle so easily. Knowledge Star, you had best have Su Xing obtain that item. Chai Ling's tone suddenly carried some seriousness. Wu Xinjie oddly smiled and said, is this not just annulling a contract? It is useless to other star masters. That would be fine if that was the case. This palace heard the Crystal Dragon Palace circulate a rumor. This 77 can annul the contract of any star general, and whoever obtains it can, rather than sign a contract, forcibly participate in the star duels. Chai Ling's eyes narrowed into thoughtful lines. Wu Xinjie was slightly stunned after she heard this. Chai Ling, are you joking? Annul the contracts of other star masters to forcibly participate in the star duels? Does that not mean, that is correct? Steal someone else's star general? A slightly tantalizing smile flit across the corner of Chai Ling's lips. Elder sister Knowledge Star, now you ought to be a bit more serious about its treatment. What's serious? This practically was a matter grave to the extreme. Wu Xinjie naturally knew that although they overturned the 10 great sects at the Bright Moon Longevity Palace, it was not easy to overthrow a collective power, let alone that a great sect like the Most High Path. To say they did not have these thoughts was impossible. Before the fourth phase 3 heavenly books began, they would not give up. Now that a purple star astral treasure like the 77 had emerged, without even the need to think, it was obvious this was catastrophic if used against Su Xing. Wu Xinjie practically was unable to imagine that sort of thing could occur. that truly is interesting. It appears that Xinjie needs to be a bit more serious. Wu Xinjie sneered. You had best not think of going to contest at the Crystal Dragon Palace, or perhaps you could have Shi Qian go help you steal it. Chai Ling smiled. Whether the 777 is real or fake is yet to be seen. Perhaps this is a trick of the Crystal Dragon Palace all along. They always were fond of drumming up early support. Or perhaps this is a trap to trick you all. Xinjie naturally knows. But if such a good thing was given to the Purple Firmament Immortal Palace's Star Master, that simply is like a tiger that had grown wings. Wu Xinjie worried about this. This palace actually feels that elder sister's fears are groundless. For the Crystal Dragon Palace to be able to become Liangshan Continent's #1 treasure great sect, their prestige is still worth your relief. Chai Ling smiled. Since little sister Chai Ling has said so, then Xinjie can only wait until the day of the banquet. Wu Xinjie smiled, however, little sister Chai Ling said it could annul contracts just now. Come to think of it, you do not require my young lord to take action. Noble star little whirlwind nobleman must have a plan. Chai Ling smiled but did not reply. The doors to the Literary Reputation Pavilion were pushed open. More than 1,000,000 books and scrolls were neatly arranged, forming an amazing space. Wu Xinjie felt overwhelmed. So many files. Wu Xinjie's face soured. If you wish to know the complete materials of the past star duels, this palace is confident these files will be of great help to you. Chai Ling rejoiced in her misery. Little sister Chai Ling, as the one who has ingested the together to hell with young lord, you will not remain indifferent, will you? Wu Xinjie giggled. Chai Ling said, this palace shall dispatch someone to help you. However, the important thing still is that best look over these yourself. In solving mysteries from the tiniest clues, who can compare to the knowledge star? Wu Xinjie nodded. Right, what is Xinger doing right now? Chai Ling pondered and asked. Young lord, huh? Perhaps he is enjoying being tenderly serviced by Yingmei, Xiao, and the other little sisters right now. Wu Xinjie could not help but laugh. Chai Ling twisted her brow. Serviced? The words made her feel somewhat unhappy. Young Su, hurry up, there's still a lot more, harder. Young Su, you're so aggressive. A sweet voice that made people red in the face came from the garden in the back of the palace. Shiyu's face reddened as she glanced at Zhang Feiyu. This clearly was Zhang Yuqi's voice. The little foul-footer cannot be doing that in broad daylight, right? Zhang Feiyu disdainfully said. The pair quickened their pace, walked through the paths, arriving at the back garden. The open grounds had a rock garden and a creek. At the same time, there were 3 figures quickly flitting about. One white, one black, and one purple, which were very eye-catching. They caused sparks to resound in the surroundings. On the surrounding footpaths sat several girls currently spectating. Among them, damaged star Zhang Yuqi just so happened to playfully gesture with the fish intestine sword. From time to time, she would notice something, and sometimes, she would heckle with words that would cause misunderstandings. Little sister, are you in heat? Zhang Feiyu saw at a glance that it turned out Su Xing was sparring with majestic star Lin Yingmei and harm star Wu Xiao, and she could not help but glare at Zhang Yuqi. Want big sis to help you settle down? Elder sister, you're all right. Zhang Yuqi threw herself over in pleasant surprise. Zhang Feiyu blushed, somewhat not too accustomed to her little sister's behavior. Is Su Xing sparring with Lin Yingmei and Wu Xiao? Shiyu asked in astonishment. This appeared a bit unbelievable. In her eyes, top-notch martial generals completely could not be overcome by cultivators. Yes, young Su, he really is so bold. Zhang Yuqi feigned a charming lust. Sister Yingmei and Sister Xiao both are unable to endure young Su. Hua. 3. A ray of sword chi exploded beneath Zhang Yuqi's feet. Sister Xiao, be a bit more careful. Zhang Yuqi stuck out her tongue. Wu Xiao glared at her. When she looked, she saw that Lin Yingmei had not received Zhang Yuqi's disturbance. She completely devoted herself into her training with Su Xing. As she thought this, suddenly, a sword light attacked. Wife, don't get distracted. Wu Xiao waved her hand. The demonic frost demonic lotus cut apart the sword light, but immediately, Su Xing used light smoke dance steps to circle around behind her. Wu Xiao's carelessness resulted in her being hugged by Su Xing from behind. Wu Xiao could even feel Su Xing's scorching hot breath that floated past her ear. Accompanied by his tender words, Wu Xiao bit her lip. Bang! Wu Xiao elbowed him. The sword qi blew backwards and forced Su Xing away. Lord husband, you should be more serious in battle. A beautiful figure flashed past Wu Xiao's side. Before Su Xing could answer, the woman who was eternally serious in battle astonishingly arrived. Lin Yingmei's freezing spear directly cut the heavens. An ice-cold chill immediately enveloped the area. The girl shouted, her imposing aura fierce. Countless ice fragments shot out. Young master, take this. On the other side, Wu Xiao also did not be neglectful. Her cool and elegant figure then followed on her heels. Su Xing was gentle facing the teamwork of Liangshan's greatest martial generals. Boatman Zhang Feiyu could not help but be envious watching. Such a one dragon, two phoenixes. Elder sister, your words are even more suspect than mine. Zhang Yuqi stuck out her tongue. Zhang Feiyu pursed her lips, gazing at Su Xing with considerable envy. This man obtained Lin Chang's battle doctrine and can also possess this many top-notch martial generals for sparring. This is practically too corrupt. No wonder Maiden Mountain would hand him a trial. If it were me, I'd do the same. After leaving recuperation in the Star Nest, Siwen explained to Shiyu the sequence of events. Maiden Mountain's trials were nothing to hide. Informing Shiyu was fine, to make the girl understand the danger by the side of the Su Xing in front, to make Shiyu decide for herself between danger and safety. Of course, Shiyu's decision was very direct. Zhang Feiyu's words attracted the ice-cold glare of Hunyangzi. How has milord's martial arts progressed right now? Shiyu asked. Against an earthly star little sister, they are not out of the question if they are not a four great heavenly king. He can fight them. Even if we bumped into another true Phoenix Realm overlord, he can contest for several bouts. Hunyangzi said in a low voice, not hiding anything. Although against a true Phoenix he could only last several exchanges, this sounded inconceivable to Shiyu's ears. The true Phoenix Realm was the highest realm for star maidens. Star generals that reached this realm could move about Liangshan unhindered. Shiyu is unable to help milord. Shiyu sighed. Young Su was too late to protect you. Just help give him a blowjob, he doesn't want your protection at all. Zhang Yuqi teased. You little foul-footer, big sis will blow you one tonight. Zhang Feiyu glared at her. Shiyu's face was red, and all the girls perspired. At this moment, countless snowflake-like lights currently fluttered around Su Xing, as if they were a swarm of never-sleeping fireflies. Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei's team attack assumed the pinnacle of beauty of black and white. The former was like a demonic lotus beautifully blossoming in ice and snow, the latter was icily arrogant, her spear thrusting. Su Xing showed a gentle smile. In passing, he attacked with Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. Before the Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder could display its might, it was disintegrated by spear light. Even though Lin Weiyang already meticulously suppressed the power of the 5-star Arctic Star Serpent Spear, it still carried unstoppable aggression. Lin Yingmei's pupils that could stir the soul entered his eyes. Her black pupils were clearer than the starry sky. At all times, she swept with formless lightning rolling away the thunder and clouds. That was the expression and tenderness that Su Xing was all too familiar with. Su Xing pointed, and heavenly abyss cut over. Spear and heavenly abyss clashed in the air for a moment. Lin Yingmei gracefully continued her advance. Su Xing evaded with a beautiful light smoke dance steps. Wu Xiao squeezed herself into this tacit world between two people. Harm Star Pilgrim used unhurried steps to circle around and attack Su Xing. Lin Yingmei knowingly kept up. The pair pincer attacked, and it looked like Su Xing could not dodge this. The clangs of metal echoed crisply in the air. Heavenly Abyss enormous sword tips suddenly became sword shields. The power of the swords forced apart their teamwork. The giant sword tips glowed with several cold lights around their owner's body. Lord Husband, this is the final attack. The corner of Wu Xiao's mouth heedlessly curled without her own notice. The Harm Star's figure vanished. Su Xing did not dare be careless, and Heavenly Abyss promptly returned to him. Lin Yingmei attacked at the same time. Powerful pressure made the surrounding spectating girls retreat. The force at the ground swelled and rumbled. How could Heavenly Abyss stop the coordination of the two women? Their pincer attack immediately broke through before Su Xing's eyes. Noble Frost Demonic Lotus and the Arctic Star Serpent Spear crossed, and the degree of power made them unable to budge. The flying swords were breached, and Su Xing lost his greatest asset. Just at this moment, his hands pinched together. Suddenly, 2 bolts of purple chi shot out of his wrists. Those 2 purple chi appeared exceptionally abruptly, becoming 2 purple cloud true dragon. They surprisingly stopped Lin Yingmei and Wu Xiao's imminent oppression. The purple chi maintained for several seconds before they broke, yet they nevertheless bought Su Xing a chance to catch his breath. Heavenly Abyss moved under Su Xing's control. Lin Yingmei's spear already stabbed, thrusting quick as lightning. The spear tip that had been repelled instantly counterattacked like a snake twisting its head, completely leaving no time for him to breathe. Another purple chi attacked, becoming a gust. But this timely assault still was unable to obstruct Wu Xiao's pace. The Harm Star shuttled to and fro at lightning speed like a falcon. Even though she was occasionally forced into a corner by the purple chi, the double-ended sword's attack of pure speed was enough to rescue her. In the blink of an eye, a black figure and Lin Yingmei arrived together in front of him. The double-ended sword clasped in ice and frost suddenly slashed, carrying a blue light before Su Xing's eyes. Su Xing pointed, and the instant frost fire activated. Just at this moment, a multicolored light arrow suddenly fired and broke this frost fire. All of the girls turned their heads in shock. Hero star Hua Wanhua pulled her bow back as she stood atop a pavilion 100 meters away. Her posture was straight as an unyielding pine tree. Hua Wanhua, what are you doing? Hun Yangzi was taken aback. I am merely helping create a bit of a surprise for him. This is much more interesting. Hua Wanhua gently smiled. Wanhua, well said. Su Xing's laugh came from inside the intense battle. Hua Wanhua gently snorted and loosed a volley of arrows in succession. The aerolights took beautiful trajectories, surprisingly mingling with those practically instantaneous gaps in Lin Yingmei and Wu Xiao's coordinated attacks. Their degree of precision made even Wu Xiao quite shocked. Hey, this isn't good. Su Xing leaned and evaded in surprise, but this retreat was immediately useless. An ice-cold spear already blocked him from behind, and at the same time, Wu Xiao now continued to keep up. She was practically nose-to-nose with Su Xing, the double-ended sword pinning him from the front. From an outsider's perspective, Su Xing had been wrapped up like a dumpling by the 2 absolutely beautiful women. Young master, you became complacent. Lin Yingmei retracted her spear. Su Xing wiped his sweat. Today's sparring session consumed much of his energy. I wonder when I'll finally be able to catch up with you. Su Xing sighed. A 5-star star general was formidable, as expected. Su Xing had fought too many times to count, but each time he sparred with Lin Yingmei, he always had a sort of feeling that he was not as strong as he wished. Lin Yingmei calmly approved, as long as young master is willing to work hard, there will finally be a day where young master will surpass your servant. Then I must thank wifey for the encouragement. Su Xing pecked Lin Yingmei's cheek, and then he kissed the ear of the objecting Wu Xiao as quick as lightning, making the 2 cool and elegant beauties red in the face. Wanhua, want one? Su Xing waved his hand. Hua Wanhua glared at him. She turned around and disappeared from the top of the pavilion. her departure was more hazy than smoke. Repairing the courtyard, Su Xing and the others walked towards Shiyu. And Siwen stepped forward and used spiritual aura distribution as usual to replenish Su Xing's energy. She even wore a gentle smile and said, "Big brother, you worked hard," which made the watching Zhang Feiyu envious to death. Just how was this man able to hold a beauty in his left and right hands, to enjoy the life of a man with multiple lovers? She looked again to her master, water illusion fairy Shiyu, who was completely enthralled. "Shiyu, are you better?" Su Xing asked her with concern. "Milord has saved Shiyu once again." 11 You smiled and said, "Saving people is a very normal instinct for a person. Shiyu, if you continue to treat it as meaning something else, I won't be happy." Su Xing deliberately stiffened his face. Shiyu tenderly nodded. "Your servant knows." Zhang Feiyu rolled her eyes. Was this even the same water illusion fairy that held men in contempt? "Right, what was that purple chi you used just now?" Zhang Feiyu wrinkled her brows and asked. Zhang Feiyu had never seen that strange purple chi. Besides, it was also abnormally powerful, to unexpectedly be able to contend against a 4-5-star destined weapon for several seconds. "That is purple star transforming chi's purple fiend," Su Xing explained. "Purple star transforming chi. Purple fiend?" Purple cloud true star was the true chi that Su Xing used to refine the heavenly spirit earthly fiend purple star flying swords, with the 4 stages of transforming chi, true star, purple fiend, and east approaches. After going through a long time of cultivation, Su Xing's efforts were finally rewarded. In these 2 days, the purple star transforming chi reached purple fiend. Compared to the purple mansion immortal thunder formed from the combination of true star and the blooming water divine thunder, purple fiend true chi was even more surly. Su Xing reckoned that even if a supervoid cultivator were to touch the purple fiend, they would perhaps be left in a difficult position. However, the flaw of the purple fiend was obvious. Its star energy consumption was too great. Now, Su Xing's supercluster middle stage left him completely incapacitated with just several uses. Zhang Feiyu's mouth mumbled several words. From her lips, she seemed to say, "Fuck, this man is really abnormal." Your servant did not dishonor her mission with this longevity stele. Shiyu's white finger pointed, and a damaged golden tablet floated into the air with golden light. The final longevity stele did not make Su Xing happy. Instead, he deeply sighed, "I truly implicated you this time, Shiyu. This is something your servant ought to do." Milord's aloof words make your servant very disappointed. Shiyu showed a hurt expression. Your servant even lost Milord's black turtle seal. Su Xing scratched his head. There was no easy answer, and, if it's lost then. There are lots of prehistoric spirit treasures in the Longevity Palace. If you like it, don't hesitate to take it. Your safety is also very important, Shiyu. Your servant knows. Shiyu obediently answered. Su Xing's hand pointed. The remaining 8 longevity steels flew out and whirled about. It seems I'm unable to assemble to longevity steel inside the immortal's abode. Looks like we'll have to go outside. Su Xing imbued his divine intent, and the longevity stele transmitted a bit of information that made him feel odd. This longevity stele was a bit unordinary. Everyone left the immortal's abode. Fortunately, the Black Turtle territory was so vast. The immortal's abode Su Xing opened in the Black Turtle territory was remote in the endless sea, and he was not afraid that others would disturb him. Are we not waiting for elder sister Xinjia's return? And Siwen asked. Xinjia is very busy. Let's not trouble her. This is only assembling the longevity stele. Su Xing shook his head. All of the girls felt the same. Su Xing began to form hand seals. The 9 longevity steles gathered into a profound formation. The golden light on the tablets flickered, and countless characters flew out. The damaged steels began to flawlessly set together piece by piece. Instantly, they formed a complete stele. His whole body's magic energy was continuously sucked away. With a grave expression, Su Xing continuously formed hand seals. The longevity stele abruptly grew in size from several inches, exploding to a size more than 1,000-fold. In the blink of an eye, it became the size of a towering mountain. The stele rumbled and quaked. Su Xing broke out in a cold sweat that made Siwen and the others on edge. A long while later, after Su Xing formed another hand seal, that longevity stele released 10,000 zhang of golden light. The world was enveloped in a golden cloud, and the enormous golden clouds in the sky were like surging tidal waves, as if the entire sky had been stirred. Something was about to break out of the sky, stunning everyone. A rumbling roll of thunder. The golden clouds slowly dispersed. A colossal palace that seemed to obscure the heavens appeared before everyone. Liked it? The sky above the ocean violently trembled for a moment. A palace that occupied a range of 100 li emerged from the palace. It had golden halls and jade pillars, silver characters and pearl stairs, with flickering splendor, wrapped in millions upon millions of rays of multicolored rays of light and propitious vapors. They could only vaguely make out its true appearance. Su Xing looked at the girls in shock. Suddenly, without any hesitation, he flew up on a riding sword. Flying for a long while, he finally arrived above the palace. When he looked down over the entire palace, Su Xing could not help but take a deep breath. This palace was magnificent, completely made of white jade. It was the size of approximately 10,000 mu. Pavilions, jade steps, carved railings, pearl rooms, fine jade, vast spaces of reflective colored glass that were very spectacular. Upon closer inspection, this palace's interior had a towering green mountain. It had beautiful green creeks, silver waterfalls, splashing flowing rainbows, white clouds and purple smoke. Every sort of beautiful scenery in the palace had blended together into one. Even paradise in his dreams did not compare. The 9 longevity steles had transformed into 9 enormous imperial halls, arranged according to the bagua. The center had a particularly large palace. From far away, it was like a towering mountain, more than 100 zhang tall, 1,000 stairs escalating straight up, winding, forming a very densely packed scene. What made people gasp in amazement was the pressing spiritual power of the palace. The entire thing hung above an enormous mountain. Hung all over up and down it was an odd bagua array. Su Xing sized it up. This palace had a mountain gate, staircase, altar, and pavilions, which practically was an all-inclusive imperial residence. Its level of gorgeousness made even the great Liang dynasty's imperial city pale in comparison. Such a spectacular landscape not only shocked Su Xing, even the other star maidens were completely stunned, a rare sight. This is... Su Xing looked around this giant thing, feeling no signs of life at all. Let us go take a look. Wu Xiao then sprung down. Su Xing also guided the dragon boat down. The palace had a barrier, with pervasive multicolored lights everywhere, propitious vapors bubbling forth, mist in the air, and mysterious sounds entering the air. Not only did it not allow them to remain calm, on the contrary, they felt nervous. The multicolored lights were glaring, brilliant and varied, also making them unable to make sense of their orientation. Clearly, that palace's inside was an extremely powerful array. Tang Lianxin activated the charms on her heavenly river star riding boat. Everyone worked together to operate its abilities, particularly with Su Xing's purple fiend turning into a true dragon to open a path. These vapors and lights could not stop him. Very quickly, they broke out of the multicolored lights. What entered their eyes was that giant imperial palace at the center of the bagua array eye. The group descended onto the courtyard in front of the palace. At the center of the palace, they felt even more insignificant. Tang Lianxin leaned down and felt the blue stone floor. She wanted to see what this material was. Did you find out? Su Xing asked her. This is blue jade tile. Tang Lianxin exclaimed. Su Xing was also shocked to hear this. Blue jade tile was Liangshan continent's precious bluestone. This stone gathered moonlight and refined it into a blue color. Using this kind of blue jade to construct an array was half the effort with double the result, thus, it was called the blue jade tile. However, blue jade tile was practically extinct in Liangshan continent. Only some of the larger sects would sparingly use blue jade tile to set up a few arrays and forbid dances to watch over their sections. Legend said that the Clear Void Most High Paths, 3 Clarities Peak, palace was constructed using blue jade tile, its value extraordinary. If they looked closely, for a material like the blue jade tile to already be used to make the floor, this was incomparably extravagant. Also, they saw that the blue jade tiles were adorned with every sort of ancient beast mark, with added refinement. Tang Lianxin then looked at the white jade pillars. The jasper jade reliefs were each constructed of top-notch materials that were long gone from Liangshan continent. This style left even the great Liang dynasty in its dust. Everyone stepped forward 100 paces. They spotted lotus ponds. The pond water was clear, the green lotuses swayed. 2 staircases lined the sides of the lotus pond. After they ascended, there was another courtyard. The center was arranged with red tiles. Above was a sculpture of a dragon swimming through a sea of clouds. Passing this courtyard, there was another pond of green lotuses and a bridge. Finally, they spotted the palace in the center. This palace was surprisingly tranquil. The surroundings were 2 steeply rising green peaks, splashing with waterfalls. Above the front gate was a sign that was carved with 3 characters, Weiyang Palace. 2. These 3 characters were drawn immaculately, beautiful as water. Each and every stroke was elegant and brilliant, making them unable to help but relax. Weiyang Palace. Su Xing's mouth hung agape. Isn't this that palace from Liangshan continent's legendary 9 firmaments Xian Nu? Su Xing vaguely still remembered this legend. Shiyu nodded. So it turns out the legendary Bright Moon Longevity Palace itself is surprisingly the Weiyang Palace. Hua Wanyue showed surprise. This palace's beauty honestly made her enthralled. Where did the longevity stele go? Zhang Yuqi asked. Let's go look. The Weiyang Palace was extremely large. 8 of the palaces were arranged according to the Bagua. Everyone split off into their own smaller groups. So as to avoid any hidden dangers the Weiyang Palace had, each group had at least 1 martial force general as top-notch guard. Tang Lianxing and Hun Yangzi went to the sword tempering pavilion while Siwen and Lin Yingmei went to the night cactus hall, and it went without saying that these were halls related to tool refinement and medicine refinement. The remaining classic scriptures hall, 3, evil smiting pagoda, and longevity platform were each explored by those that wanted to. Su Xing carried by Yutang along with skillful star Yenizhen who did not stray an inch from his side to the center's Weiyang Palace, with even Hua Wanyue coming along. The 9 bright moon longevity palaces that had descended into the mundane world were originally luxurious, but he did not expect it would truly feel a bit like an insignificant trifle compared to the Weiyang Palace. This palace has seen its share of time, but it has been remarkably preserved. This is completely a palace hall of Star World. Hua Wanyue indifferently looked about. The hero star that had always possessed an eye for the beautiful and refined could not help but praise it. But I wonder who left this behind. Su Xing said. In legend, the 9th firmament Xian Nu lived in the Weiyang Palace. It would be interesting if we actually can bump into that 9th firmament Xian Nu who rules Maiden Mountain. 9th firmament Xian Nu. How do you know that she is the ruler of the star duels? Hua Wanyue twitched her lips, not accepting this. Chao Gai said it, so it can't be wrong, right? Su Xing still remembered Chao Gai's first descent was on orders of Xian Nu of the 9th firmament. Chao Gai. I actually want to meet her. Hua Wanyue sneered. You'll meet her sooner or later. Answering her, Su Xing and the others began to search through the halls. They saw no one else, and circling through, they returned to the front of the Weiyang Palace. Suddenly, Gongsun Huang emerged from the star nest and sat on Su Xing's shoulder. Elder sister Little Huang. Bai Yutang rubbed her unfocused, sleepy eyes. Little Huang nodded at her. Bai Yutang again drilled her face into Su Xing's chest and fell asleep. These past 2 days, she had adapted every sort of wine brewing material, which actually made the little loli very tired. Now, like a white rat, she only wanted to sleep well in Su Xing's embrace. Her essence spirit rat also cutely laid atop by Yutang's head and napped, a scene which made people smile. Your Highness, there. Gongsun Huang hung a very faint smile and shook her head. The leisure star pointed to a platform on the main hall, hinting at it. Su Xing, Hua Wanyue and Yan Yizhen looked over, but there was nothing too different at all. Gongsun Huang pointed, and a bolt of star magic shot out. With a huala sound, as if there was the sound of dry vegetation being ripped apart, that slightly convex platform suddenly wafted with fragrance. A multicolored light surged, and an array of the sun, moon, and stars appeared on the platform. Star transferring moon shifting array. Hua Wanyue recognized this array's background. Does the Weiyang palace hide another palace? Truly tricky. The hero star stepped forward into the star transferring moon shifting array without even thinking, instantly vanishing. Su Xing then followed. What appeared before Hua Wanyue was an odd space. The surrounding cold stars twinkled, and the space manifested several palaces, with stars as a bridge, with moonlight as a sea. You aren't afraid this array would be dangerous? A man's voice entered her ear. Then why did you want to follow me in? Hua Wanyue cast a glance at him. What else but because I was afraid you were in danger? Su Xing answered. Hua Wanyue was taken aback. She valiantly raised her head. Do not say those pleasant words to me. Your way or the highway? Su Xing placed his gaze on this peculiar space. More than a dozen floating palaces made for a feast for the eyes. Seeing the palace flow with starlight, it was blinding to the eyes. These palaces are perfect to use as bedchambers. Su Xing praised. These bedchambers actually made Su Xing enraptured. Although his immortal's abode was good, that palace was extremely pitiful compared to the Weiyang palace. The man finally says something nice to hear. Hua Wanyue faintly smiled. It was obvious she took a great fancy to these palaces. After the Weiyang palace appeared, the other beauties already returned in succession from the other palaces to the main plaza. All of the girls summarized the situation to Su Xing. They did not find any anomalies, and it appeared the Weiyang palace was indeed deserted, but the longevity stele nevertheless was not found. Even the longevity cultivation method was gone, which made them feel odd. As far as divination was concerned, knowledge star Wu Xingjie was far more adept than he was. They could only wait until she returned. Right, elder sister Sio and I noticed a very interesting place, and even elder sister Sio is interested. Young Su, you definitely will like it, too. Zhang Yuqi craftily smiled. What place? Su Xing was somewhat interested in what could make Wu Sio moved. Everyone looked at Wu Sio. The harm star's face was somewhat flushed, her expression surprisingly was somewhat dodgy. Wow, what is it, elder sister Sio, to surprisingly make elder sister Sio bashful? Shi Yuan shouted in an over-exaggerated manner. Lin Yingmei and Hun Yangzi showed curious expressions. Nothing, that place is not worth a mention. You all do not need to mind the damaged star's babbling. Your servant is not interested. Wu Sio's words betrayed her heart. Little sister, what palace did you go to? Zhang Feiyu asked. The place sisters can bathe in. Zhang Yuqi snickered. All of the girls perspired. The Jasper Moon Palace was located at the Can, 5, position of the Bagua. This was a considerably spacious palace, and the inside did not have too many decorations. However, there was a public bath. This pond water's surface was clear and limpid, reflecting the moonlight. The bath was like the dew of immortals. A Huaqing pool. Shiyu recognized this water. The Huaqing pool enriched immortal water by taking in moonlight. Regardless of who bathed within, they could be born again, extend their life, and it was even helpful in advancing cultivation. Su Xing also remembered that he had seen one before at the Devil Star Palace. That time, Great Blade Guaning just so happened to be recovering her wounds with the Huaqing pool. The result was that something embarrassing happened between them. Now, Guaning was already trapped in the pagoda, out of the star duels. Everything seemed like a dream, making him sigh. Young master, what are you thinking of? Lin Yingmei interrupted Su Xing's contemplation. Su Xing returned to his senses. He suddenly noticed all of the girls were ravenously looking at him. From those pressing expressions, they clearly very much wanted to enter the water. I'll step back. You girls can wash first. Su Xing smiled. Young Su, who let you step back? Zhang Yuqi gently smiled. She wished for the whole world to be in chaos. Since young Su is our contractor, we naturally need to bathe together. Does any sister oppose? The damaged star looked around at all the sisters, craftily winking. All of the girls were bashful. They finally understood why Wuxiu would be red in the face just now. As it turned out, they had already decided, and the girls had absolutely no reason to oppose. A married couple's bath. The Hua Wanyue who had been preparing to enjoy the Huaqing pool was dumbstruck. Bathing together. Hua Wanyue's delicate body shuddered. Compared to this, what was even more unbelievable to her was that this shameless idea came not from Su Xing, but unexpectedly from Zhang Yuqi's mouth. This Huaqing pool has absorbed 1,000 years of moonlight and has never been polluted. This is the first opening. If we bathe together, it will be very beneficial for stronger star nests, so of course we have to bathe together. Zhang Yuqi said resolutely. The contract between Star Master and Star General was considered spiritual, but it was not impossible to receive the influence of outside factors. Compared to that very famous perfect harmony realm, this could bolster their connection with one another. The Huaqing pool was originally capable of nurturing star generals. Something like a powerful star nest was not really nonsense. Zhang Yuqi blurted out. Wait. Hua Wanyue noticed that something was a bit off. I am not this man's star general, why must I bathe together with him? After she said this, the hero star fell silent. This longevity palace belonged to this man. For him to wash first was only logical. Don't tell me that elder sister doesn't want to exploit this 1,000-year immortal water to increase her own strength? This can help young Su in the future. Zhang Yuqi giggled. Zhang Shun, have you got things wrong? When did I ever say I helped him? To me, he has done. Hua Wanyue defended herself. Done what? Everyone was curious. Hua Wanyue's face turned red. How could she say that incident out loud? Yuqi, let's not. You girls wash first with Wanyue. I'll just wait. Su Xing said to help her out. Although taking a married couple's bath with all of the girls was the greatest thing in his life, he had practiced dual cultivation. It would be hard to control an embarrassing misfire. Dear husband, this is also good for the sisters. Hun Yangzi spoke. The bright star's position was very clear. This, Su Xing looked to the girls again. Lin Yingmei naturally did not need to say anything. Yan Yizhen's expression was indifferent. The maid did not mind this sort of thing at all. This also was not the first time Su Xing would have bathed together with Gongsun Huang and Bai Yutang, so this was even more inevitable. Shi Yuan and Su Xing's relationship was at the final step, so naturally, she absolutely agreed. And Siwen was considered the most guarded, but she merely remained bashful and did not refuse. Tang Lianxin pondered. With so many of the sisters agreeing, she had no reason to shrink back and also agreed. Don't delay anymore. Since the Jasper Moon Bowl was opened, if we don't hurry, this 1,000-year spiritual water will lose its light. Zhang Yuqi craftily looked at Hua Wanyue. A conspiracy, a blatant conspiracy. Hua Wanyue's complexion slightly changed. She gazed at Wuxiu. Wuxiu, could it be you agree? What Zhang Yuqi said is logical. A pond with 1,000 years of spiritual power naturally is most suitable with all of us together. Wuxiu was red in the face, feigning an ice-cold expression. Besides, Hua Wanyue, you need not worry. Lord husband naturally will not take advantage of you. Lord husband, when that time comes, would you please cover your eyes? Wu Xiao asked Su Xing. Su Xing was startled, but he nodded. It seemed he had no reason to refuse. What a pity that Sister Xinjie isn't here, but now, this young lady shall be the early bird. Shi Yuan giggled. She was impatient to strip Su Xing of his clothes, like a female wolf. Elder sister, are you coming along, too? Zhang Yuqi asked Shiyu. May I? Shiyu was taken aback. Of course you can. Shiyu looked to Zhang Feiyu. The boatman pursed her lips. Since Wusong is not afraid, then what have I, Feiyu, to be afraid of? I just so happen to be curious as to how plentiful brother-in-law Su Xing's assets are. Will he treat my little sister unfairly? Ha, ha. Elder sister. Zhang Yuqi was embarrassed. The boatman's directness made the shy girls even more bashful. The Huaqing pool very quickly exhibited a very sensual scene. The girls were timid, undressed, each of their perfectly exquisite bodies fully displayed. Hua Wanyue nevertheless did not undo her underskirt at all. Even if Su Xing's eyes were covered by a black towel, the hero star was convinced his eyes could see through. Let alone that hero star little Li Guang was chaste and moral, how could she bathe in the same bath as a man? This practically disgraced her name. Seeing the girls all enter the spring, although Hua Wanyue was regretful about the 1,000 years of moonlight spiritual power this Huaqing pool accumulated, she had no choice. She faced Su Xing, gently opened her red lips and spat out 4 graceful words. You are so shameless. Su Xing covered his eyes and entered the water. His view was pitch dark. Even so, Su Xing's sense organs still could perceive the Huaqing pool's dubious situation. The girl's delicate fragrance pounced into his soul. Su Xing could even rely on this scent to differentiate who was who. Wu Xiao originally was somewhat not too accustomed. Her body was still covered with silk underwear, however, following the Huaqing pool's immortal water moistening her skin, Wu Xiao turned calm. Her underwear fell off, revealing an impressive figure, which left Shiyu's eyes staring. All of the girls enjoyed the Huaqing pool's 1,000-year immortal water. The atmosphere was quiet enough to hear the slight sounds of breathing. Zhang Yuqi and Shi Yuan's personalities were a bit excitable. They could not stand such silence. After the damaged star took a short time to adapt, she swam about like a mermaid. Shi Yuan's gaze craftily spun about. She glanced at Su Xing and dove into the water. Su Xing's eyes were closed in rest. His back suddenly cooled, and a supple body stuck itself against his. The contact of 2 soft bumps made Su Xing's blood boil. A pair of hands extended towards his lower body from behind. You honor, don't misbehave. Su Xing grabbed her hands and moaned in pleasure. Su Xing, how did you know it was me? Shi Yuan said in shock. Her supple hands groped a bit. Su Xing, you obviously felt very good. Each of you have your own characteristics. Su Xing affirmed. Really? Shi Yuan was unconvinced. When have I ever tricked you? Su Xing smiled. Shi Yuan's eyes rolled. Su Xing, wanna make a bet? What bet? Let's bet, Su Xing, whether or not you can tell us sisters apart. If you get it wrong, then you have to satisfy one of this young lady's requests. Shi Yuan's eyes glinted. Fine. Su Xing thought this was fun, anyways. Su Xing, you can't cheat. If you lose, you have to sleep with Yuan tonight. Shi Yuan giggled. Su Xing perspired. Shi Yuan, what did you say to Lord Husband just now? Wu Xiao had continually paid attention to Su Xing and cast a bewildered glance at Shi Yuan. It's like this. Shi Yuan summarized everything. All of the girls gathered. After they listened to Shi Yuan, their brows furrowed. Can Milord recognize us without using his eyes? Shiyu was curious. Elder sisters, let's go test Su Xing. Lin Yingmei hesitated, this cannot be good, right? Can it be that elder sister Yingmei doesn't want to know the degree of recognition Su Xing has for elder sister? Su Xing recognized little sister. Shi Yuan giggled. Yuqi also wants to know the share of young Su's heart each of us has. Zhang Yuqi egged her on. The girls cheerfully crowded together. Lin Weiyang and Wu Xiao looked at each other. Unable to restrain their curiosity, they followed along. Just as Su Xing was resting, a petite and delicate body sat against his chest. Little Huang. Gongsun Huang crossed her arms. Her long hair ran down as she gently grunted. This was not the first time Gongsun Huang took a married couple's bath with him, so Su Xing was more accustomed. Hearing some noise, he asked, "What are they saying?" "They want to come test if your highness can tell them apart." Gongsun Huang said. They actually agreed. Su Xing smiled. Just as he was chatting with Gongsun Huang, he heard Shi Yuan say, "Su Xing, let's begin right now." "You really caused trouble." Su Xing nodded. Just as Su Xing was wondering how they would test him, he heard a bashful laugh, then the sound of water shifting. There was also Shi Yuan's envious voice. "Elder sister little Huang actually is very close to Su Xing, but don't tell him." Scorching hot skin stuck onto him from behind. Su Xing was taken aback. "Young Su, quickly guess." "Which sister?" Zhang Yuqi smiled. Su Xing was very dizzy. He did not expect them to use such an audacious method. The sensation of girls' towering and impressive twin peaks was clearly felt, making Su Xing's frisky. He took a deep breath. Her fragrance lingered. "You honor." Su Xing smiled. From behind him came the beauty's displeasure. "That's so lame. This young lady thought she could even catch you off guard." "Elder sister, your turn now," Shi Yuan said. A moment later, as before, a supple and soft body stuck tight against his. Her body's scent was somewhat unfamiliar. He could clearly sense the bashfulness of the beauty behind him. "Shiyu?" Su Xing was surprised. Shiyu bashfully grunted. This was the first time she had intimate skin contact with Su Xing. Her heart was very nervous. No way. This young lady even said it was an elder sister. "Su Xing, how did you know she was Shiyu?" Shi Yuan dejectedly said. She had originally thought she could use this sort of trick to be able to trick Su Xing. "Shall we go on?" Su Xing smiled. "The other elder sisters haven't been tested." Shi Yuan grunted. She swam beside Yingmei and whispered into her ear, handing over a spice bag. Lin Yingmei nodded and calmly walked over. "What did you say to Yingmei?" Hun Yangzi curiously asked. "This young lady surmises that Su Xing is using our scent to tell us apart, so this young lady handed elder sister Yingmei a spice bag." Ha, ha. Perhaps that is not the case," Hun Yangzi said. Su Xing was honestly too familiar with Lin Yingmei, particularly those slender beautiful legs that he immediately recognized with only a gentle touch. However, he savored Lin Yingmei's hug from behind. Su Xing did not say so immediately, and he even pretended to think for a long while. Only when he was exposed did he laugh. Then, each and every one of the girls' naked bodies stuck against Su Xing's from behind. Their plump sensation, their supple skin, and dripping wet skin made Su Xing fully savor their absolute beauty. The beauties took turns trying to fool him, even adding in Tang Tang, but they still were deduced by Su Xing without a single mistake. Wu Xiao received the atmosphere's influence and played the guessing game. However, Su Xing and her already had a married couple's bath situation. Even at that time, they were more intimate than now. Her plump breasts pressed together onto his back. Su Xing then recalled that matter of perfect harmony from before. All of the sisters had been thoroughly deduced by Su Xing. Shi Yuan's heart had a sense of urgency. She spotted Zhang Feiyu and gleamed, she was not Su Xing's wife. He should not be able to deduce this. Zhang Feiyu heard Shi Yuan's request. She declined to comment and left the question to Shiyu. Feiyu, if you do not mind. Shiyu softly said. Fine. I, Feiyu, am very bored. Wuxiu stuck her own chest onto him anyways, what have to be worried about? Zhang Feiyu's red hair was like fire, her expression alluring. The corner of her lips wore an evil grin. Zhang Yuqi and her elder sister swam over with tacit understanding. She personally watched her elder sister stick her body to him, one hand even deliberately caressing Su Xing's chest. This honestly was incomparably brazen. Zhang Yuqi's face reddened, but she quietly stood nearby, breathing to misguide Su Xing. This time, as expected, Su Xing immediately hesitated. Su Xing continued to not answer, and Shi Yuan proudly smiled. Su Xing, can't guess, can you? I'm afraid that if I answer, someone's going to kill me. Su Xing perspired. The whole body of the Zhang Feiyu who currently was vigorously rubbing her chest against him stiffened. She chuckled and left Su Xing's back. Only then did Su Xing relax. The boatman's provocation just now made his lust ignite into nearly bursting out. His whole body reacted, and only by using the heart-like mirror absolute sincerity soul technique several times did he get by. Even so, Su Xing still felt the little loli sitting against his chest also receive an electric shock. Red clouds flew across Gongsun Huang's face, and she blinked. Following Zhang Feiyu being recognized, all of the girls in the Huaqing pool had been defeated on Su Xing's body. Shi Yuan was happy, but she helplessly asked, Su Xing, why were you able to recognize us? You each have your own distinct characteristics. Su Xing smiled. And what characteristics do our bodies have? All of the girls were curious. Su Xing thought for a moment, then shook his head and said, maybe it's better if I don't say it. The more Su Xing acted this way, the more curious Shi Yuan became. Do you really want to listen? Su Xing's words appeared to be somewhat evil. All of the girls looked at each other, but in the end, they could not resist the curiosity in their hearts. Then I'll say it. Su Xing calmly said, Yingmei's legs are very slender. I can feel her out with just a touch. The others heard Su Xing's words and looked down. Through the pool's water, as expected, they saw those slender, sparkling jade legs seemed to be the work of the heavens. Indeed, they were beautiful to the extreme. Lin Yingmei's face reddened, but her eyes still had a somewhat elated expression. And the other sisters? Shi Yuan pursued the question. Siwen's body is very soft, fragrant and supple. It felt really good when she leaned on me. Lianxin doesn't like to speak and put her hand across her chest when she was behind me, so she was very easy to recognize. Nyangzi's figure is elegant, gentle and leisurely. Yuqi's skin is snow-white and glossy, like the feeling of ice and snow. Su Xing complied, each word leaving the wives tongue-tied, their faces red and their hearts pounding. And me. Shi Yuan pointed at herself. Our Yuaner is of course the most enthusiastic. I don't even need to think to deduce. Su Xing tweaked Shi Yuan's nose, drawing the jealousy of the other girls. Elder sister Sio, what characteristics does she have? At this time, all of the girls already no longer cared how Su Xing did it. They were very expectant of the evaluation Su Xing had for Wu Xiu. Wu Xiu slightly trembled when she saw that she had been mentioned. She saw that Su Xing's gaze was aimed at her chest. Although he was blinded by a black towel, Wu Xiu still subconsciously covered her chest with an arm. She glared at him and fake coughed, the meaning being, do not say some nonsense in front of the sisters. Su Xing chuckled and did not reply. But these girls and Su Xing had known each other for a long time, and they had very tacit understanding between them. Seeing Wu Xiu's plumpness, her towering twin peaks, the reason was very clear. Elder sister Xiu's breasts are so big, he'd know just by sticking them onto him. Young Su even pretended to not know. Zhang Yuqi feigned a sigh. Exactly, so biased. Shi Yuan and the other girls felt the same way. Wu Xiao was dizzy and merely treated it as if she did not hear this. Little sister, your man is so honest, to unexpectedly be able to remember so clearly. Should your big sister envy you? A voice of bantering ridicule. Zhang Feiyu's brows rose, as if she was smiling. I'm actually very curious. I really want to know just how you were able to tell me and Shiyu apart. Don't tell me, you peeped on our naked bodies before? Zhang Feiyu doubtfully stared at Su Xing. She had a sort of urge to yank off this man's blindfold to see what interesting expression he would make upon personally seeing this scene. Sure, Yuan also thought of this. Su Xing smiled, this is very simple. Since I'm not familiar with your bodies, that means that it was not, having known each other for too long, naturally it has to be you, Shiyu. However, Shiyu is a very good and caring woman. Zhang Feiyu, your wish for chaos actually was very easy to figure out. He was originally about to say, not one of his wives, but fearing he would make Shiyu's mood change, he changed his wording to be about their time together. The corner of Zhang Feiyu's lips rose slightly. She was quite satisfied with his attentiveness, but Su Xing said she wished for chaos. This made the boatman's face redden for a moment. The big sister, merely want to help Shiyu and little sister test your character a bit, so as to avoid having them like a man that thinks with his lower half. Then you made quite the sacrifice. However, Zhang Feiyu, your physique is rather provocative, the rest of this sentence has been censored, you surprisingly dare to take liberties with this big sister. The atmosphere very quickly relaxed. Su Xing's attentiveness more or less made the girls' hearts ripple. Not long after, Lin Yingmei suddenly said, Young master, it seems you did not say what characteristics little E had. Right, little E doesn't like to talk either, and her figure is also great. Su Xing, how could you forget little E? Sure, Yuan fought for justice and equality. I didn't forget. Su Xing looked at the taciturn skillful star Yanizhen and showed a gentle smile. Having once gone through a married couple's bath with together, how could he ever forget the scene little E possessed? Until now, her hard-working nature was engraved in his mind. Those gentle moans seemed to still reverberate in his ears. That was a song she had once sang. The curtain of night fell, and all of the girls each went to the Star River Group Palace that Su Xing and Hua Wanhua discovered to rest. The Longevity Palace's light gold array circled around the palace's surroundings, obscuring illusion and reality. Jasper Moon Bowl, a dignified woman walked through the moonlight. The Huaqing Pool's immortal chi had already faded, but the moonlight this water had brewed still made one's mind relax. Under the moonlight, the Huaqing Pool emitted a blue light, more beautiful than the sea. The moonlight illuminated the woman's face, reflecting her elegant beauty. Her picturesque red phoenix eyes were full of sharpness. Hua Wanhua looked around. She undid her skirt, and her grace that was full of a classical atmosphere sunk into the Huaqing Pool. The hero star sighed in pleasure, muttering, It is but a pity that man's spirit does evil. Otherwise, I would have been satisfied to be together with Yingmei. The Huaqing Pool only had Hua Wanhua alone. The hero star stroked her white arms and jade legs in pleasure. This was leisure, however, when Hua Wanhua was bathing, she was completely oblivious that Wu Xinjie was already in a corner watching. 2. Hero star little Li Guang Hua Wanhua really is enjoying herself. If Xinjie disturbs her, that would be embarrassing. Wu Xinjie covered her mouth and snickered. Master, what will you do? Hua Shui jumped onto Wu Xinjie's shoulder. Of course we help young lord, we must induct Hua Wanhua into the harem. Wu Xinjie fanned herself with her fan, full of wisdom. How should we do it? Master, your orders, please. We only need to make Hua Wanhua and young lord trust each other sincerely several more times. Xinjie is not afraid she will remain unmoved. Wu Xinjie could see that Hua Wanhua's hostility for Su Xing was fake, but her jealousy was real. However, the hero star has a very strong grandeur and self-respect. If she follows normal routine, then perhaps at the 7 Stars Assembly, the hero star will not be able to sign a contract. To make Hua Wanyue moved enough to initiate, it will be necessary to destroy her prideful mental defenses. An intimate plot circumstance is naturally tried and true. Master has clearly thought through this. Hua Shui, can you use dazzling light mind image on Hua Wanyue? If slave uses full power, slave can actually barely interfere, but this cannot be maintained for too long. Hua Wanyue answered. An illusion art like dazzling light mind image honestly was too weak against a top-notch star general. Wu Xinjie nodded. A few seconds is enough to change a person's destiny. The broken arrow beauty plays the Kong Ho. Wu Xinjie craftily smiled. And how to break this arrow? Young lord, young lord. The fragrance of an orchid blew past his ear. Su Xing slowly woke, and he saw Wu Xinjie intimately next to him. Xinjie, it's so late, why haven't you slept? Su Xing recovered his senses. Wu Xinjie looked at Su Xing. Those limpid beautiful eyes looked at the girl against Su Xing's chest. She was not the Lin Yingmei or Hun Yangzi who were already married couples in fact. Rather, it was Shi Yuan. The thief star was glued to Su Xing. From one side of her bodice, half of her full roundness was exposed as being stuck tight against Su Xing's arm. Why are young lord and Yuaner sleeping together? Can it be that young lord has eaten Yuaner? There's Maiden Mountain's trials right now, how can I still mess around? Su Xing forced a smile. He still understood this bit of logic. Wu Xinjie smiled, disapproving. Young lord, Xinjie has something. Wu Xinjie winked, walked backwards, and disappeared into thin air. Su Xing very carefully pushed aside Shi Yuan's arm and followed. Did you find something? Su Xing asked her. Wu Xinjie giggled. She pulled Su Xing's arm. Her gait gracefully walked out of the Weiyang palace and then walked towards the Jasper Moon Bowl. She sweetly said, Xinjie heard that young lord and the sisters bathed in the Huaqing pool together. Young lord, you did not forget about Xinjie. It's so late, Su Xing rolled his eyes. Late is best. The Huaqing pool's water gathers the moonlight. The later, the more nourishing it is. Wu Xinjie winked. Su Xing always felt that she was hiding something, but seeing Wu Xinjie was in a hurry, he could not so easily brush away her kindness. Hua Wanyue was currently wiping her body. Suddenly, the gentle sound of footsteps outside the hall made her mind stiffen. At first, she wanted to bring out the heaven earth sun moon bow and fire an arrow before the people came in, but Hua Wanyue very quickly recalled this was the legendary Weiyang Palace. It had a powerful protective array, and those able to enter and leave freely could only be the people inside the Weiyang Palace. Other than Su Xing's flock, there were no others. This was probably Wu Xinjie. Hua Wanyue guessed. The knowledge star did not appear in the married couple's bath earlier in the Huaqing pool. Having returned at night, she definitely would not miss this. Thinking of this, Hua Wanyue immediately relaxed. Just as she felt that one person washing alone was cold and cheerless, an elder sister's companionship was not a bad thing. As Hua Wanyue was about to call out, at this moment, Hua Wanyue's whole body suddenly stiffened. That picturesque brow shrunk, and she nearly screamed. As expected, Wu Xinjie entered, but besides Wu Xinjie there was also man. Currently, the knowledge star and his posture were extremely intimate. Their lips and tongues were entwined, their hands wandering everywhere. Anyone watching would have their heart pound. Who else could this man be but the knowledge star's master, Su Xing? Ah! Hua Wanyue gasped. She wanted to go put back on her clothes, but at this time, her counterparts were perfectly a step faster. The Huaqing pool was plainly visible. Hua Wanyue certainly did not want her naked body to be seen and anxiously swam to a shadowy corner without even thinking. Most of her figure sunk into the water, not allowing Su Xing to see. Fortunately, Su Xing and Wu Xinjie had sweet feelings and did not notice anyone in the pool. Hua Wanyue currently hesitated on how she should respond. All of a sudden, Wu Xinjie gracefully smiled. Her clothes fell piece by piece, and finally, her bodice was cast aside, revealing her supremely wonderful figure to Su Xing. They bathed a married couple's bath like this. Hua Wanyu bit her lips. What is happening? The things that happened with this man seemed to be decreed by fate. She could not hide away. Young lord, what are you waiting for? Do you want Xinjie to help you undress? Wu Xinjie smiled fully amorously, making Su Xing's heart ripple. Wu Xinjie tonight appeared considerably passionate. They did not bathe for too long in the Huaqing pool before they subsequently deep-kissed. His hands caressed that soft and supple skin. It was difficult for even the Huaqing pool to extinguish the lust in Su Xing's whole body. Young lord, you are so excited tonight. Wu Xinji savored Su Xing's beast-like encroachment, panting hard. I've held back for a very long time. Su Xing sampled the girl's ample roundness. When he had bathed at the Huaqing pool earlier, he already was full of lust. Afterwards, in order to satisfy Shi Yuan's wish, he slept together with her, avoiding falling into debauchery with great difficulty. Now, receiving Wu Xinjie's allure, he could not wait any longer. Tonight, Xinjie will do whatever young lord pleases. Wu Xinjie was also extremely passionate, but her eyes still had a bit of clarity, inwardly curling her lips into a smile. The pair wrapped around each other. Very quickly, Wu Xinjie's hands embraced Su Xing's necks, and her legs straddled his waist. They tightly combined. The feeling of cramming tight her emptiness made Su Xing and Wu Xinjie unable to help but moan. Su Xing kneaded Wu Xinjie's butt and began his scorching hot assault. Wu Xinjie's brows slightly furrowed. Waves of pleasure like a tide attacked her whole body, making her unable to help but rub her smooth and round breasts against Su Xing's wide chest. Her legs tightly clamped around Su Xing's waist, making each time her man entered into her more fierce than a beast, more violent than a storm. The girl moaned loudly, each groan making his blood vessels expand. Wifey, you look really passionate tonight. Su Xing said in pleasure. Each night, Su Xing would dual cultivate with the beauties, but tonight, Wu Xinjie showed a particular charm. Whether it was the rubbing of Wu Xinjie's rosy cherries, too, against his chest, each time their skin touched brought a superb joy, or the pleasure of the girl's tight passageway, they all made Su Xing feel wild. Properly conquer Xinjie tonight, Wu Xinjie's eyes revealed her charm, and she extended her tongue into a deep kiss. Under the moonlight, alluring pants reverberated. Shameless, too shameless. Hua Wanyue watched the scene before her and inwardly cursed. She originally was wondering what she was doing hiding from Su Xing, preparing to find an excuse to greet them. How could she have expected this obscene couple would copulate in the Huaqing pool without any hesitation? Hua Wanyue's eyes were sharper than a falcon's. The slightest ray of moonlight was as sufficient and bright as daylight. Su Xing and Wu Xinjie's position was laid very bare in Hua Wanyue's eyes. That shocking fierce thing entering and exiting her deep valley once again entered her eyes, like a beast's malevolence. Hua Wanyue stiflingly wanted to shoot dead this shameless man and wash her sister clean. However, Hua Wanyue in the end still placed her body even deeper into the water to hide. If she was done in by Su Xing again, she would have no purity left. Time slowly passed, and the moonlight still was clear and cold. Ah, hubby, ah. Wu Xinjie's moans increasingly made her face redden and her heart pound, becoming more and more lewd. Hua Wanyue did not dare believe that the woman before her eyes surprisingly was Maiden Mountain's ranked 3rd knowledge star resourceful star. To be so sentimental with a man, was this even a star general? Damn it. Hua Wanyue covered her ears, not wanting to listen anymore, but Wu Xinjie's moans were overwhelmingly ecstatic. Even if she covered her ears, Hua Wanyue could still hear. Hua Wanyue was not a woman without libido. Otherwise, she would not be so tempted by Lin Yingmei. However, in Hua Wanyue's heart, since they were star generals, being tempted meant they could only be sisters to each other. She did not need to think about anyone else. Hua Wanyue remembered the scene of Lin Yingmei beneath Su Xing, pleasing him. Slowly, Hua Wanyue's gaze unfocused, and she fell into her own delusion. Just when Hua Wanyue was about to go overboard, how could she know that Hua Shui was hiding in the corner monitoring her? Its white fox eyes released a vortex of white light directly at her. The air contorted for an instant, and then it immediately disappeared. Not good, I nearly lost control of myself. Hua Wanyue's whole body quivered, violently roused by a cold wind that blew past. Her legs clamped tight, and her hand clenched into a fist as she lifted her gaze. Su Xing and Wu Xinjie were currently still climbing Mount Wu together, however, they had changed into a sort of even more shameless position. Wu Xinjie's hands grabbed the edge of the Huaqing pool as she stuck her supple butt up and allowed Su Xing to attack her from behind. This posture actually was much cleaner to Hua Wanyue's eyes. At least she did not need to see that naked lovemaking, but seeing this submission, 3, position still made her furrow her brow. This honestly was very disgraceful. If it was me, I absolutely would kill this man. Just as Hua Wanyue was about to indulge in her fantasies, suddenly, the fiery burning in her whole body suddenly faded. Her line of sight was drawn to a water screen behind Su Xing. That water screen slowly formed into a whirlpool, slow-moving. A water dragon that was formed from water drilled out from within the water. Hua Wanyue froze. She suddenly noticed that Wu Xinjie and Su Xing currently were engrossed in their lust, completely oblivious to the dangerous change behind them. What is going on? Hua Wanyue's brows knit together. She felt the atmosphere was somewhat odd, but she did not say anything. Could it be because Su Xing's intercourse had activated an array hidden in the Huaqing pool? For something like the Weiyang Palace, an extremely precious place like the Huaqing pool having a defensive spirit beast was not odd to Hua Wanyue. Let this lewd couple taste some hardship. Hua Wanyue's eyes were delighted. This was a perfect opportunity to escape. That water dragon's body was increasingly large. It seemed to conceal the sky under the moonlight. The water dragon fixed its gaze on Su Xing and Wu Xinjie and opened its mouth. The starlight of the Huaqing pool gathered into a light ball from every direction. Hua Wanyue sensed danger. Her sneer of contempt slowly vanished. She noticed that Su Xing and Wu Xinjie seemed indifferent, completely oblivious. What is happening? The magnificent knowledge star cannot possibly not have noticed. Hua Wanyue restrained the urge in her heart, making herself maintain calm. The ball of light the water dragon was gathering was increasingly powerful. Its power was enough to make even Hua Wanyue feel astonished, and Su Xing and Wu Xinjie were still in oblivion, as if an array had been sprung in their surroundings. Could it be that they were trapped by an array? So they were unable to sense it. Hua Wanyue was uncertain. The water dragon shot into the sky and bit towards Su Xing. Just as he was about doomed to hell, Hua Wanyue at this time was unable to restrain herself from moving. Damn it, this man is doing such a vile thing in front of me, and I unexpectedly have to protect him. Let alone sullen, Hua Wanyue's heart felt that she did not know at what time she wanted to protect this womanizing man. However, they had a prior agreement. Hua Wanyue could not stand and watch something happen to Su Xing. Her self-respect would not allow it. They really are insane. Hua Wanyue shouted, rushed forward and drew her bow fast as lightning. Full moon, shooting star. A powerful arrow shook the Huaqing pool with a rumble. The bow and arrow roared out like a fierce dragon. Dark rank archery, 10,000 Li god-killing arrow. Boom. The 10,000 Li god-killing arrow directly broke the ball of light, shaking the ground. Ah! A startled man's voice and a satisfied woman's voice combined. Su Xing and Wu Xinjie simultaneously climaxed together. In spite of Su Xing's exhaustion after climax, he carried Wu Xinjie to protect her. Heavenly abyss flew out, forming a sword shield. Purple fiend attacked, lingering about. Wu Xinjie's face was flushed and glossy, a look of happiness and satisfaction. However, now, Wu Xinjie still did not forget her own plan. Her lips curled into a cunning grin. Young lord, Hua Wanyue seems to be helping us. Hua Wanyue. Su Xing's boiling killing intent froze. The scene he saw before him left him stupefied. The current Hua Wanyue truly was like a hunting goddess under the moonlight. The 10,000 Li god-killing arrow's power shook away the spring water and directly highlighted the classical curves of her body, her skin that surpassed snow, her breasts that rose towards the heavens, her snow-white slender legs and that secret place. Her flowing black hair sprinkled down, and she was perfect enough to make people stare in awe at her flawless glittering jade body. She seemed to be crafted by the heavens, full of elegance. Hua Wanyue, why are you here? Su Xing was stunned. You are still looking, are you not afraid of me shooting out your eyes? Hua Wanyue grit her teeth. Elder sister Wanyue's body is truly too beautiful, even Xinjie is captivated. Even Weiyang Mai is certain to be captivated. Even if you blinded him, it would be worth it. Is that not so, young lord? Wu Xinjie collapsed against Su Xing's chest and panted. Su Xing curled the corner of his lips without any easy reply. He still turned away his gaze, dressing the two of them first. What were you doing just now? Su Xing gazed in the direction that the 10,000 Li god-killing arrow was fired in, wrinkling his brow. You are selfish. You did not notice the array spirit beast guardian of the Huaqing pool just now. Hua Wanyue gently jumped, her jade feet lightly landing on the ground. Hua Wanyue only draped herself in an elegant silk shirt. The nice curves of her delicate body were faintly visible under the moonlight. Any random glance could spot a bit of her full roundness. This appearance simply was more enticing than complete nudity. Hearing Hua Wanyue's serious words, Su Xing put away his frivolity. There was indeed an array just now. Wu Xinjie pondered. There was. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. He had completely missed it. Hua Wanyue wanted to say something but hesitated. In the end, she snorted. Her gaze looked around the Huaqing pool, also feeling this was odd. Although she sensed that her arrow had pierced the water dragon, she did not feel the sense of death. The atmosphere was somewhat not to her liking. You two would unexpectedly do such a vulgar thing in the Huaqing pool, even heaven could not stand watching. Hua Wanyue shuddered. Su Xing oddly looked at her, were you always here? Hua Wanyue stared blankly, her face red. Look out! The hero star shouted. All of a sudden, she shifted, leapt 100 meters and fired an arrow. A giant water dragon charged out. This time, Su Xing saw it. This water dragon, Su Xing's gaze concentrated, and he used the soul technique. That water dragon roared loudly and suddenly thrashed over. Hua Wanyue was caught off guard and sent flying directly towards a pillar by its surging power. Young lord, go save Wanyue. This seems to be an illusion. Wu Xinjie said in shock. The 8 gates black gold chains simultaneously activated. Su Xing nodded. He soared and caught Hua Wanyue's body against his chest. That layer of cloth completely had no effect in covering her body. Hua Wanyue's gorgeous and sculpture-like body curves were fully revealed. Release me. Hua Wanyue furiously said. This is an illusion, don't be fooled. Su Xing shouted. He grabbed her petite waist and flew down, stepped on the spring water and evaded the water dragon's attack. Just at this moment, the Huaqing pool's water transformed, splitting off 4 water dragons to encircle them. Like a galaxy suspended upside down, they covered Su Xing and Hua Wanyue. Even if this was an illusion, Su Xing knew that sustaining injury was the same as the real thing. He did not dare to be careless at all. He extended a hand and pointed. The heavenly abyss swords blocked like boulders in their surroundings, obstructing the water dragon's assault. Careful below. Hua Wanyue's expression changed. The pool water surged, and 100 water dragons ascended, bubbling over at the same time. Hua Wanyue was hugged against Su Xing's chest. Heavenly abyss was contracted to the greatest extent that did not leave any gaps. Millions of water dragons slammed over, the noise thunderous, but compared to receiving this attack, Su Xing tightly embracing her was even more intense. Hua Wanyue's heart suddenly bubbled forth with a certain kind of relief. This passionate man. The heavenly abyss sword shields jolted. More than 1,000 water arrows shot out of the water dragon's mouth, turning from the size of pythons into a rain of sharp arrows. Although it was an illusion, the pressure the attack brought was not inferior in the slightest. Su Xing felt heavenly abyss bear a heavy pressure. Terrifying power. Fully aware arrow storms might that the water dragons fired, Su Xing made the heavenly abyss defenses airtight. He struck a hand seal, and fiendish purple chi spurted forth from his fingertips, curling up in heavenly abyss surroundings and fighting the water arrows. However, his resources were not limitless at all. Along with the intensity of the water streams, the pressure that the heavenly abyss swords bore became increasingly unbearable. Heavenly abyss shook with a thunder-like boom. The flying swords launched, breaking all of the water arrows. Hua Wanyue put away her thoughts, and her eyes became sharper than a hawk's. Her figure flickered, charged out of the seawater and fired a shooting star out of the heaven earth sun moon bow's 3 starlights, making the water dragons waver unbearably, but it was no use. To the illusory water dragons, this honestly had not threat at all. The speed of the arrows Hua Wanyue fired could not be described as slow. Several dozen light arrows flew out in succession and shot through several dozen water dragons, emitting a roaring wind pressure. Su Xing also attacked in coordination. Although he knew this was an illusion, he could not allow Hua Wanyue to be reckless. The water dragon opened its mouth. It was hard to imagine that this thing formed of water would release such tyrannical strength, as if it was sucking all the air into its belly. A powerful wave immediately ended all of Su Xing's movements, and the entire Huaqing pool seemed to have already become a hell of stormy rain. The air froze solid. The water dragons bellowed, and an air-ripping noise entered their ears. Suddenly, several dozen shooting stars covered in mist broke the surface, dropping out from their bodies and smashing towards Su Xing and Hua Wanyue. The assault of the airflow scraped his whole body into searing pain. Careful! Su Xing wrinkled his brow. Purple Fiend attacked and clashed with the meteors. The two had no time to pause at all. They glanced at each other, very tacit in their understanding. They suddenly strode forward and pincer attacked from the left and right. The water dragons roared like before, their wings shaking the sky, their tides shaking the sky. Both of them suddenly leapt into the air and flew towards the water dragons. Their martial force completely unleashed. The water dragons sprayed 100 rays of water light that was like smoke and flame. Su Xing controlled the flying swords to match the purple thunder dragon slaying. Hua Wanyue stood behind him and drew her bow, turning him into the most substantive shield. The water lights that blew over were penetrated swiftly by the arrows. Crimson light and green wind immediately linked together and roared. Bang! In Wu Xinjie's astonished gaze, the pair seemed to welcome their intermingling. Instantly, countless fragments shot out. A high-pitched dragon cry resonated. The water dragon's giant body fiercely leapt. The water waves on its body abruptly rushed into the sky, spinning in the air and were already plunging down, becoming a frightening tsunami. Before the attack even arrived, the intense wind pressure already blew the pair's hair into a flutter. Flying swords entangled the water dragon, immediately connecting. It was smoother than he had imagined. However, Hua Shue's dazzling light mind image was far more formidable than they had imagined. Young Lord Su Xing and Hua Wanyue's teamwork was quite fierce. Due to Wu Xinjie having not suffered the illusion, she was not sure what was happening, but she could see that things were not simple at all. It was a pity that using such an overboard dazzling light mind image had squandered all of Hua Shue's strength. As the contractor, she herself could feel it particularly clearly, otherwise, this was a trump card to use in the star duels when someone was off guard. Thinking quickly, Wu Xinjie saw that things were almost over. Her eyes winked, and she waved the fan. The water dragon finally could not persist and became illusory, fading away like faint mist. Hua Wanyue took a deep breath. The entire course of events took only several seconds, but these seconds nevertheless felt incomparably long to the hero star. Glancing at Su Xing, her heart was still unwilling about their teamwork just now. Young lord, little sister Wanyue, are you alright? Wu Xinjie worriedly ran over. Hua Shui lay on her shoulders without any spirit, hanging its head low. Su Xing spotted Hua Shui, and his mind immediately guessed what had happened. He showed a very helpless expression. Wu Xinjie awkwardly said, Hua Shui wanted to ruin Xinjie and young lord, so she used dazzling light mind image. Xinjie will definitely scold her. The nine-tailed spirit fox sagged her head and whimpered to show her innocence. Even a star beast could not bear to watch. Su Xing, you had best behave. Hua Wanyue coldly snorted. She draped herself in her cloak and quickly left this place. Perhaps she was afraid of Su Xing asking and was avoiding embarrassment, for Hua Wanyue walked away very quickly. Did Hua Shui really want to destroy us? After Hua Wanyue left, Su Xing shook his head. Young lord can punish Xinjie any way he pleases. Wu Xinjie said. Good, your punishment is to fight 300 bouts with me. This little lady is too weak to stand against the wind and can only submit. Wu Xinjie pitifully said. Su Xing kissed her. After a while, he said, what did you gather from going to Chai Ling? Right. Wu Xinjie only now remembered. She put away her alluring posture and made a serious reply, Xinjie has heard information noble star Chai Ling obtained. Soon, the Crystal Dragon Palace Treasure Banquet will display the Purple Star Astral Treasure, 77. 77? Yes, an item that will raise a carnage amongst all Star Masters. Wu Xinjie explained it. After hearing her speak, Su Xing's brow twisted, forcefully rescind the contracts of Star Generals. It's surprising there's even something like this. Can it be a trap to blackmail us? Su Xing's thinking was the same as Wu Xinjie's initial thoughts. To forcefully annul a contract and participate in the Star Duels, from any perspective, the timing was too perfect. He had never heard of such an item that defied the natural order before. If this was the 10 great sects, it was not impossible they would be dead set on exploiting the 77. Young lord and Wu Xinjie think the same. If it is the Star Dues, a magic weapon like this is not too likely to appear according to common sense. Wu Xinjie pondered. But we cannot completely ignore this. As expected, we can't stop now. Su Xing smiled. Wu Xinjie nodded and agreed. However, Chai Ling said we did not need to worry. About the 77, she has plans on the together to hell she has with young lord. Isn't she unable to participate in the Star Duels? Su Xing was somewhat worried. The treasure banquet should not count as a part of the Star Duels. Su Xing pondered. It was not too realistic to ignore this 77 magic weapon, but it was extremely likely that the 10 great sects had set another baited trap. Regarding things like the flippant and insincere alliance of 10, even Su Xing felt this was quite annoying. However, ever since his first battle with the 10 great sects, it was no wonder when the other side kept losing power, particularly the most high path known as the number 1 great sect, which inevitably would not rest. Is Alliance of 10 Martial Assembly about to begin picking a new General Assembly of the 10 great sects? Not long after the treasure banquet. And, I should settle things with those annoying great sects at this point. Young lord and Xinjie think alike. Wu Xinjie laughed. How was investigating the previous overlords? Su Xing asked. There is a bit of a general outline pertaining to the second Star Duels. At the time of the 7-Star Assembly, they were split into Leisure Star, Dragon in the Clouds Gong Sun Sheng, Prestige Star, Double Clubs Huyen Zhua, Solitary Star, Flowery Monk Lu Zhishan, Guardian Star, Gold Lancer Su Ning, Deviant Star, Red-Haired Devil Lu Tang, the Heavenly Star Xia Twins, and Brave Star, Sik Yuchi Sun Li, 8-star generals total. As expected, the Heavenly Stars held an overwhelming advantage. Only the Earthly Star, who was the chief of the 4 great Heavenly Kings, Sik Yuchi Li Sun, could represent the Earthly Stars. Back on topic, Su Xing noticed that had not yet seen this boss of the 4 Heavenly Kings in these Star Duels. He wondered what sort of character she was. After the second star duels began, Liang Shan began to pay attention, but there is no definitive information. The strength of the 7-star assembly then was still relatively average. There was no absolute advantage, and Xinji does not know who became overlord in the end. However, Xinjie surmises that Dragon in the Clouds Gongsun Sheng was the most likely. Wu Xinjie said. The first generations was the strongest in martial force. Now the second generations was the strongest in magic energy. Su Xing was pensive. Not just in name but also in reality. If things truly are like this, then this will be thorny. Wu Xinjie bitterly smiled. The star general strongest in magic energy was unlike martial force. In particular, to the magic energy star general who was able to become the overlord, their advantage in numbers was completely lost. It is best that it was deviant star Lu Tang. This way, defeated her will not become a problem. Wu Xinjie chuckled. It was best to pick the lowest hanging fruit. Even the knowledge star understood this logic. Don't get your hopes up. What ought to come will always come. Su Xing narrowed his eyes. Liked it? Crystal Dragon Palace, Wind Wave Hall. A cup of rich and serene tea scent wafted with a faint mist. An ordinary man sat on top of a coral jasper chair tasting this crystalline Dragon Palace's famed, rich serene mist. The man appeared very nondescript, to the point of being completely unremarkable. Even the brightest person would be unable to describe the features of his face. The word ordinary vividly and thoroughly portrayed his face. However, even this ordinary man's body had an introverted yet powerful presence, strong enough that even the wind feared to get close. The man had very slender fingers. He brushed the lid of his teapot. A pair of dull eyes now showed wisdom that was only possible with countless years of experience. Not long after, the gates of the Wind Wave Hall opened. A beautiful woman dressed completely in a water blue flower gown and streaming silk ribbons delicately walked in. Compared to the mediocre appearance of the man, the difference was day and night. The beautiful woman had a cloud bun and flower rings, tender and beautiful. Her brow was full of a frightening majesty, as if she was terrifying to the heart. Seeing the beautiful woman, the man rose. A good-natured smile appeared on his face, and he cupped his fist. Little sister Wanxin, truly many thanks for this. The beautiful woman was one of the current masters of the Crystal Dragon Palace, Long Wanxin. Long Wanxin did not at all slight the apparently benevolent smile of the man in front of her. The position of the man before her was not beneath hers. Across all of Liangshan continent, he was first or second. The Most High Path's strongest ancestral master. Northern Darkness has fish. 2. Fellow has fish, there is no need for pleasantries. This palace has helped your sect this time. The Crystal Dragon Palace's 1,000 years of reputation is hanging by a thread. Long Wanzan's mood was not very good at all. Her words could not help but be slightly unhappy. Northern Darkness has fish faintly smiled and nodded, has fish engraves this to memory. For this matter, the Most High Path owes little sister Wanxin a favor. Do not speak of this for now. Regarding the 77, do you truly feel that it can make that purple thunder monster show himself? Long Wanxin asked. The reliability of the information about the 77 that Chai Ling mentioned to Wu Xinjie was completely on the mark. The reason was very simple. The Crystal Dragon Palace's treasure banquet had several thousand years of history in Liangshan continent. Its reputation had always been very good. If it was a treasure the Crystal Dragon Palace recognized, then it was great. However, Chai Ling's thinking was nevertheless slightly off this time. As it turned out, Northern Darkness has fish and Long Wanxin had always had a pretty good friendship. Northern Darkness has fish wanted to get rid of the purple thunder monster, so he sought out Long Wanxin to set down the 77. However, Long Wanxin was an intelligent person. She played with a tiny scheme. The information pertaining to the 77 was not transmitted by the Crystal Dragon Palace at all. Rather, they found someone to deliberately disseminate this information. By doing so, If something happened at that time, the Crystal Dragon Palace had plausible deniability if things turned unfavorable. Otherwise, Long Wanqin would not dare do this. He has no room to choose. Northern Darkness has fish gently blew on his tea, wearing a smile that Long Wanqin both admired and loathed. Every time Northern Darkness has fish was this calm, Long Wanqin knew based on how well she knew him, someone was about to become his prey. Is that so? Long Wanqin wrinkled her brow. The 7 is used to forcefully rescind a contract and steal away a star general. The legendary Lin Chong or Wusong have never had so intimate a relationship in 1,000 years as they do now with the Purple Thunder Monster. Since we already let a rumor into the wind, he has no choice but to choose, regardless of whether it is real or not. Northern Darkness has fish said. Perhaps. Fellow has fish must have thought of how to face the Purple Thunder Monster. His multiple star generals have now drawn a storm in the Azure Dragon territory. Listen to Wanqin's words. Fellow has fish, why not wait until the 7 stars assembly? At that time, the other star masters will unite, and the Purple Thunder Monster will be hard-pressed to survive. Long Wanqin advised. For top-notch star generals like Lin Chong and Wusong, even if they had 100 years' worth of cultivation, their supervoid late stage could not taste success. Against these star generals, it was most suitable to fight star with star. Northern Darkness has fish set down his coral cup. Slight sharpness flashed in his eyes. The Most High Path would be an absolute joke if we cannot personally kill him. Long Wanqin shook her head. She still felt this was too sloppy. She had already heard of the affair at the Bright Moon Longevity Palace. An encirclement that gathered practically all of the 10 great sects' first-rate elders had fallen into an ending where they were completely routed, and the Purple Thunder Monster even obtained the Longevity Palace. He absolutely was #1 in Liangshan continent. To become enemies with such a person, Long Wanqin was not optimistic about the Most High Path. However, Long Wanqin nevertheless understood Northern Darkness has fish's sorrow. The names of the 4 original disciples under Immortal Clear Void's tutelage each took their name from the compass directions to demonstrate the widespread influence of the Most High Path. Now, Envious of the East, Nangong Xing, 3, and Shiman Jinlian had all met with tragic ends. Northern Darkness has fish was the last. This was one of the reasons he had left his seclusion to reach Transforming Star of Annihilation. 5. Long Wanqin suddenly remembered and asked, Fellow has fish, informs Senior Clear Void of these matters. If Senior Clear Void takes action, you definitely can take down the Purple Thunder Monster. Immortal Clear Void was already Super Void peak 100 years ago. After 100 years of secluded cultivation, even the 4 disciples he had instructed had already reached Super Void. Thus, he had always been recognized as already having entered the legendary Transforming Star of Annihilation. If a Transforming Star of Annihilation cultivator took action, they would not need to fear even the Lin Chong who had comprehended her earth rank. Northern Darkness has fish sighed. Master has long since ascended to Star World. The matters of Liangshan continent already can no longer be pleaded. As expected, he had broken through to Transforming Star of Annihilation. Long Wanqin's heart was envious. Her Crystal Dragon clan had also produced several generations of seniors that were acclaimed as Transforming Star of Annihilation level, but as far as she knew, these so-called Transforming Star of Annihilation seniors completely were genuinely annihilated. Long Wanqin was Super Void late stage. She was always searching for a way to the legendary Transforming Star of Annihilation, but other than a few adepts that turned up in Liangshan continent's unofficial records, the other sects did not have any records at all. Sometimes, she doubted whether or not Transforming Star of Annihilation was in fact death. These words, Long Wanqin could not easily ask aloud. Fellow has fish, Wanqin wonders what you paid a visit for. If it is for treasure banquet matters regarding the Purple Thunder Monster, Wanqin fears she is unable to help. Long Wanqin thought that Northern Darkness has fish came this time to prepare to face the Purple Thunder Monster at the treasure banquet, so she made her position clear. The treasure banquet was Liangshan's supreme feast. Long Wanqin absolutely could not let him turn it into a feast at Hongmen. 6. Northern darkness. Has fish smiled, little sister Wanxin, be at ease. Has fish wants to borrow little sister's connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls. 7. What? Long Wanxin was startled. Little sister Wanxin also knows that the purple thunder monster has so many star generals. Even if we lay a trap, based on their current strength, has fish cannot do anything against him. The sole method to face him is to isolate his star generals. As long as he loses his right and left-hand star generals, like Wu Song and Lin Chong, has fish absolutely has a chance to take the purple thunder monster's head. This. Long Wanxin hesitated. The connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls were the Crystal Dragon Palace's protective treasure. They guarded the Crystal Dragon Palace in all directions, dispelling the sea and reaching the sky. Only this allowed the Crystal Dragon Palace to become the legendary palace in the sea. 8. Little sister Wanxin, are you unwilling to help with this? Northern darkness. Has fish showed a hurt expression. In order to star duel, the Most High Path has already put forth all its strength. Has fish, this palace honestly does not wish to be involved in your matters with the purple thunder monster. Long Wanxin was in an awkward position. Has fish merely is borrowing the connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls. It is not unrelated to the Crystal Dragon Palace. In the future Alliance of 10 conference, the Most High Path is setting up mutual aid. After things are done, if Has fish has the fortune to snatch the Longevity Palace, Has fish absolutely will not forget little sister Wanxin's favor. Northern darkness. Has fish cupped his fist, each word spoken with iron power. Long Wanxin's indifference was fake. The Bright Moon Longevity Palace cultivated the longevity secret technique. Any super void cultivator would be moved. If the reason that Northern darkness. Has fish was so impatient to kill the purple thunder monster was not for this, Long Wanxin would not believe him. But ever since the battle at the Longevity Palace, the people all knew that the purple thunder monster's strength truly was deep and immeasurable. Even that woman of the true immortal palace addressed as immortal outside heaven, 9, showed rare silence after Xian Zhenzi perished in the battle at the Longevity Palace. If one was resented by the purple thunder monster, who would dare fight him after the 3 heavenly books? The grand number 1 great sect of the Azure Dragon territory, the Most High Path, had been filled with dramatic lessons by the purple thunder monster. Everyone observed what had happened. Northern darkness. Has fish dully drank the mist tea, calm and composed, not worried at all. Has fish this time is still preparing a pretext to visit fellows at the other sects, to have them join in an operation to confront the purple thunder monster. If Has fish receives little sister Wanxin's support, Has fish believes the purple thunder monster will be unable to escape this time. For a monster like this who has destroyed the star duels, even if we eradicated him, Maiden Mountain will not say anything. Also, Has fish hears the purple thunder monster once obtained the devil-suppressing steel and the ghost's god's bane that Emperor Liang had set. Has fish is also preparing to discuss using that, along the river during Qingming. 10. Long Wanxin muttered to herself for a while. With things as they stood, she was already unable to refuse. Everyone knew that Emperor Liang had always wanted the imperial family to lead the 10 great sects. If Northern darkness. Has fish truly collaborated with Emperor Liang, the Most High Path would attach itself to him, and the Crystal Dragon Palace that had wealth equivalent to a nation's would be the first out of luck. Ai, Envious, Xing'er, and Jinlian also got along well with Wanxin. Since fellow Has fish is avenging them, for this request, if Wanxin declines, then her heart is truly frozen. The Long clan's elders would also scold Wanxin for being heartless. However, 24 connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls have always been used to protect the Dragon Palace. If you take all of them, then perhaps the Crystal Dragon Palace will meet with the calamity of drowning. Wanxin asks Has fish to understand. Wanxin can only lend 12 connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls. Long Wanxin warmly replied. Northern darkness. Has fish smiled and cupped his fist. Has fish thanks you. If it was not for the heaven-earth dark yellow swords being stolen by the purple thunder monster, 11, but we have no other choice. Has fish did not want to beg little sister Wanxin. Huh. The Heaven-Earth Dark Yellow Four Swords have been seized by the Purple Thunder Monster. 12. Long Wanxin was astonished. This was a first-class accident. The Heaven-Earth Dark Yellow Four Swords were considered the most high path's treasures. The four swords gathered to form a sword array, and Long Wanxin's heart was somewhat afraid. Other than the Heaven's Sword in my headmaster's hands. Then you must be extremely careful. If the Purple Thunder Monster truly takes it, fellow has fish is in danger. Many thanks for the concern. As expected, this deep serene mist tea is fully deserving of its reputation. After Has Fish kills the Purple Thunder Monster, Has Fish definitely raise his head for another cup. Wanxin will wait at any time. Long Wanxin faintly smiled. Northern Darkness Has Fish nodded. The two chatted for a while, discussing past events and sighing. Long Wanxin took the chance to inquire about Immortal Clear Void's transforming star of annihilation, and indeed, his physical body was destroyed, scattered. If he had ascended to Star World, it was fair. Not long after, Northern Darkness Has Fish departed. Long Wanxin contemplated alone. Your Highness Mother. Gentle footsteps interrupted her thoughts. Long Wanxin lifted her gaze to see her own daughter return a cold stare. Long knew. Wisdom Star Daredevil Third Brother Shi Xiuxiu stook small quick steps, the corner of her lips hanging a smile full of ruthlessness. She looked provocatively at the demon beast in front of her. That was a demon beast whose whole body seemed draped in armor. Its giant body was more than 2 meters tall, and its skin was harder than steel. It possessed super fast speed and explosive strength. This demon beast was known as Leading Rhinoceros, 2, classified as 7th or 8th rank. In the White Tiger territory, it was relatively formidable. Daredevil Third Brother appeared quite excited, and the Goosefeather Heavenly Wolf beside her howled, saying something. You Luo, 3, just leave this to your servant. This is a perfect grindstone for sharpening my blade. Shi Xiuxiu licked her lips. The Leading Rhino's armor-like skin was very famous as an extremely high-quality whetstone. Despite that a star weapon would never dull its edge, using it as a grindstone could make them even more polished. The Leading Rhino smelled danger. It raised its head and spotted Shi Xiuxiu. It attempted to use a bluff to scare away this girl too weak to stand against the wind. But in the eyes of Daredevil Third Brother, this only became a battle stimulant. The girl shouted, and a 7 colors goose-feather saber appeared out of thin air. Gripping it in her hand, she slashed at the Leading Rhino. The saber's tip spurted powerful saber chi. The saber chi cut along the Leading Rhino's body, spraying sparks. The 7 colors goose-feather saber rang, but her powerful strength merely made the Leading Rhino take a few steps back. This thoroughly infuriated the demon beast. The Leading Rhino's enormous body slightly crouched, carrying a powerful pressure. It stared fixedly at Daredevil Third Brother Shi Xiuxiu. It let out an ear-piercing shriek and barreled towards her, launching an attack. Shi Xiuxiu chuckled. She leapt, and her body was like an illusion as she slashed wildly on the Leading Rhino's body. Saberlight emerged in multitude. The Leading Rhino could only yelp. But the Leading Rhino's defensive level made Shi Xiuxiu a bit surprised. Like its ancient name, the most annoying thing about the Leading Rhino was its impenetrable skin. Reportedly, it was on par with Black Turtle Divine Iron. Shi Xiuxiu's hand was numb. Only then did she notice that the colossal monster in front of her was still intimidating. Snorting, Shi Xiuxiu evaded the lime the Leading Rhino sprayed out. She circled around behind it, slashing horizontally. The saber chi was storm-like. Her robust strength rocked it, nearly toppling the Leading Rhino over. The forest seemed calm for an instant. The Leading Rhino ceased its breathing. Its impervious skin already showed minute wounds, and its eyes were full of fear. Who said that demon beasts did not know fear? Shi Xiuxiu certainly would laugh at them, but this was not enough. The bulk of the Leading Rhino's body suddenly expanded. Its skin armor seemed to materialize odd markings. This Leading Rhino's famous ability was Skin Armor Morph. It bellowed and charged. Bang! The 7 colors goose feather saber shuddered. Shi Xiuxiu was astonished to find her own star weapon apparently about to break. Such a powerful defense. This bastard truly was even more steely than steel. The leading rhino took advantage of the moment Shi Xiuxiu's attack stagnated to countercharge. Its powerful might pinned Shi Xiuxiu's attack into sliding back several hundred meters. The leading rhino's attack already was unable to pose any threat to Shi Xiuxiu, but that powerful defense still made Shi Xiuxiu remain at wit's end. However, if she could comprehend her Earth rank technique, that would be fine. Shi Xiuxiu quickly brainstormed. Her footsteps spun, and her body techniques were as spry and lively as a butterfly, gracefully vanishing. There was a mournfully sharp howl. The entire forest's air temperature plummeted. Ice-cold breath suddenly enveloped the entire space. Sparkling and translucent ice crystals appeared in the air, quickly extending in all directions and also emitting a frightening chill. The leading rhino spat out a ray of frozen ice. Shi Xiuxiu appeared from empty space, slashing with her saber, directly breaking open this ice breath. Then, she continuously used the daredevil third brother's frightening swordplay against the leading rhino. Although the leading rhino was ferocious, it could not withstand Shi Xiuxiu's suicidal assault. Perhaps the demon beast was wondering how it had the bad luck to encounter someone so reckless. If it was before, it could just rely on its powerful armor skin to stalemate the battle. Time passed. The leading rhino's armor skin was unable to continue and faded. The demon beast prepared to flee. Shi Xiuxiu nevertheless maintained a strange calm through her frenzied saber technique. She spun, grazed by, and saber light flashed. A yellow rank saber technique heavenly wolf moon howl broke into the weak spot on the leading rhino's neck. Blood drew a ring around its neck and sprayed. This terrifying demon beast rushed straight 100 meters, bellowing several times before it finally collapsed. The wisdom star slowly let out a long exhale. Just at this moment, a figure flew out. The goose feather heavenly wolf pounced after it, yet she heard the goose feather heavenly wolf yelp. It had been flung down by a sword. Shi Xiuxiu was stunned. She promptly rushed to the goose feather heavenly wolf's side and waved her saber. With a bang, she repelled the interloper. Amazing, a 2-star destined weapons yellow rank dispatched the leading rhino. Truly incredible. Perhaps those top-notch martial force star generals would not be able to achieve such a thing. A refined and elegant voice slowly laughed. A man with long red hair appeared before Shi Xiuxiu. Then, white light flashed. A young girl whose sword nearly killed the goose feather heavenly wolf landed daintily beside the man. The girl's figure was petite and adorable. She had white embroidered armor and short skirt, shoulder pads, a breastplate, and a pair of super adorable eyes more brilliant than jewels. She had long, flowing hair. Her forehead was tied with a protector crammed full of gorgeous talisman script. The young girl at first glance looked like an adorable lamb, but the giant sword she held in her hand was full of murderous intent that was completely incongruous with the girl's petite and delicate body. Silver Snow Dragon Abyss Sword. 5. So it turns out to be Earthly Star 4 Heavenly Kings, 41st rank Little Sister Magnificent Star Wood Dog of Well How Siwen. 6. Shi Xiuxiu recognized the master of the sword and smiled. My true name is Bingxin. Daredevil third brother, remember my name because you will be a defeated general under my hand. Magnificent Star Wood Dog of Well How Bingxin cutely said. Clever brat. Shi Xiuxiu was not offended at her tone. She was impressed that the magnificent star could utter these grand words. Daredevil third brother, to find you honestly was not easy. That elegant man naturally was Hao Bingxin's master, Yi Futu. He warmly said, you actually impress your servant, to dare come to the White Tiger alone to cultivate. On the basis of just this, your servant very much wishes to become your friend. Your servant is Yi Futu. Shi Xiuxiu laughed aloud. I do not care if you are a stupa or a butcher. 7. Do not waste your breath on kind words. Your humble servant does not like it. Seeing as how you do not have a sinister appearance yet also seem to have specifically sought out your humble servant, could the White Tiger 7 Spirit Star's newly inducted fire be you? Have those monsters prepared a roundabout way to make your humble servant sign a contract? Though grand in appearance, her thoughts were very meticulous. This generation's daredevil third brother was somewhat problematic, Yi Futa's heart assessed. Sure Xiuxiu had guessed correctly. After Yi Futa was recognized as the White Tiger's 7th Spirit Star, everyone gave him an assignment. They made him go capture the daredevil third brother, preparing to use Han Bing's twin star button to contract 2 stars. Roundabout. Ha, ha. Daredevil third brother, you are a powerful and free character. Futa is very impressed by you, indeed. Your servant has also trained in the White Tiger territory for a long time. How about this? Your servant shall have Bingxin fight about with you. If you lose, you will sign your servant's second contract. Yi Futu first stabilized Sure Xiuxiu as according to plan. Your humble servant has not interest in a contract. Sure Xiuxiu showed a provocative tooth. How? Daredevil third brother, are you prepared to flee for your life this time? Yi Futu indirectly steered her psychology. Bring out your true abilities. Sure Xiuxiu coldly shouted. Without another word, she leapt and slashed. Magnificent star Hao Bingxin's silver snow dragon abyss blocked. A 4-star destined weapon held an advantage over a 2-star, but Sure Xiuxiu had cultivated to the extreme realm training in the White Tiger territory. Her swordplay was exceptional. Hao Bingxin turned the sword into a natural shield, blocking the dazzling saber chi. The goose feather heavenly wolf charged along. Yi Futu pointed, and a dark red flying sword spun and battled with the goose feather heavenly wolf. He still surreptitiously sized Sure Xiu up, taking this chance to look for an opening. After several bouts, Hao Bingxin was not match for Sure Xiuxiu. She was suppressed into a somewhat sorry state by Daredevil third brother's stronger realm and swordplay. The girl flashed aside, withdrawing several dozen meters. Sure Xiuxiu curled the corner of her lips and laughed. Little sister, conceding defeat certainly disgraces the earthly star 4 heavenly kings. Sure Xiu, don't look down on me. Bingxin will now be earnest. Humph. Hao Bingxin cutely scratched her nose. Suddenly, the star crest on her forehead flashed. A beautiful as jade and cute tiny velvet beast appeared on Hao Bingxin's head. That velvet little beast was extremely shy, its pair of sparkling eyes were large and fully glued on Sure Xiuxiu. My anger is snowballing. The consequences are very severe. Hao Bingxin snorted. This velvet little beast was known as Codfish Jail 8, a support-type star beast like the yin-yang carps. It could greatly promote realm and martial force. Hao Bingxin sneered. This codfish jail flashed with white light and attached to her graceful headband. Suddenly, Hao Bingxin's whole body fell into a sort of gentle white light. The girl's big eyes became whiter than snow, beautifully dazzling. Magnificent star Hao Bingxin launched an attack. Her speed and awareness were clearly much faster. Her entire body's movements were very nimble, swift and flowing as water and clouds. Silver Snow Dragon Abyss enormous blade ruthlessly hacked down. This is very good. Sure Xiuxiu leaned forward and rushed. Her body suddenly accelerated again, and her left leg rose high to fiercely hack downwards. Instantly, firmly pressed down the large sword magnificent star Hao Bingxin slashed with. Then, she slashed with the saber in her other hand. Bang! A white light flew out to directly block the saber's edge. Astral treasure. Sure Xiuxiu was startled. Stupid elder sister. Hao Bingxin used full power. She took advantage of the recoil to suddenly pick herself up. Instantly, she soared above Sure Xiuxiu. The Wisdom Star was astonished and immediately brandished the 7 colors goose feather saber to launch a counterattack, but Hao Bingxin was too quick. Although Sure Xiuxiu was able to bear it, she basically could not see her trajectory clearly. She counterattacked directly with a martial general's capabilities. But the magnificent star was a 4 heavenly king. Her own martial general capabilities were not inferior. Hao Bingxin gracefully rolled her body, sticking straight up inverted in midair. Then, both her hands gripped the sword, instantly already slashing a consecutive 100 times. A large expanse of snow-colored swordlight soundlessly sneak attacked Shi Xiuxiu from above. Despite vigilance that Shi Xiuxiu already had for Hao Bingxin in her heart, she was still just a bit too slow. A wound was cut open on her shoulder. Shi Xiuxiu grit her teeth and endured with willpower. She clearly sensed the powerful wind pressure above her and could not raise her head. The 7 colors goose feather saber already launched from her hand, forming a saber net that completely protected her person. Even Hao Bingxin was unable to attack Shi Xiu from anywhere. The saber net carried a chilly malice. Yellow rank saber technique. Heavenly wolf moon howl. 9. The 7 colors goose feather saber cut a fierce wolf-like saber chi that directly tore over. Hiss, there was a continuous sound as Hao Bingxin's swordlight was torn apart. The girl's body was directly slammed by the pouncing saber chi. Her astral treasure only barely stopped it. She had no time to be happy, for Shi Xiuxiu nevertheless punched her. Hao Bingxin's silk headband fluttered, and the girl's awareness instantly advanced higher. The silver snow dragon abyss stabbed at the same time, using her yellow rank technique. Absolute Psi Ice Dust. 10. Swordwind formed a giant sword of penetrative power that seemed to split heaven and earth. In a split second, the silver snow dragon abyss was just like a coiling silver dragon. An enormous shaking made Shi Xiuxiu's wrist go numb, and her body intensely shuddered. Such powerful strength. Shi Xiuxiu's heart was grave. The heavenly wolf moon howl was completely powerless and unexpectedly devoured by Hao Bingxin's absolute Psi Ice Dust. It directly pounced, and Shi Xiuxiu could hardly imagine what the feeling this attack would have if it hit her. She immediately evaded. How is it? Hao Bingxin raised the corner of her lips, full of complacency. You are satisfied with just this? Shi Xiu smiled. Her silhouette vanished. Magnificent star Hao Bingxin sensed that Shi Xiuxiu was in the space above her. She suddenly turned her head, and a vastly ice-cold air spouted from the giant sword tip. Instantly, her body was covered in 5 or 6 meters. Within its range was ice-cold, and the temperature suddenly plummeted to the limit. This was the codfish jail's ability. Shi Xiuxiu could distinctly hear the sound of the surrounding air freezing, but if Hao Bingxin thought this could stop her, she was gravely wrong. Daredevil third brother flashed away, scuttling into the ice-cold air. Without waiting for Hao Bingxin to come to her senses from her complacency, a crisp gurgle entered her ears. In Hao Bingxin's shocked gaze, Shi Xiuxiu's saber technique was like an intense explosion. Instantly, countless saber chi shot over. Hao Bingxin braced the silver snow dragon abyss to let out a brilliant, clanging sound. Then, she followed with a slash, cutting with a powerful force to repel Shi Xiu. Shi Xiuxiu patted the dust off herself as if nothing happened. She looked pretty good. Hao Bingxin actually drew in a breath. Did it not stop her at all? Magnificent star Hao Bingxin could not accept this fact that her attack was inconsequential. Her giant sword tip suddenly flicked, charging fiercely into the sky. In midair, she spun, already plunging down. Before her attack arrived, an intense wind pressure blew Shi Xiuxiu's short hair into a mess. The sand and stone on the ground were scattered. 1,000-year-old trees were uprooted, and a swift and severe shriek shook the surroundings. This was Hao Bingxin's dark technique. White dragon leaving sword tip. 11. Shi Xiuxiu was briefly surprised. The power her terrible sword tip raised was just like an enormous white dragon covering the sky and earth. The surrounding 1,000 meters were shattered by the sword's tip. However, this was but a brief moment. Nevertheless, Shi Xiuxiu was too late to react. By the time the noise was over, Shi Xiuxiu's surroundings were already a complete mess. Not one single thing was intact, and Shi Xiuxiu's body showed thousands of tiny cuts which hurt terribly. Before Hao Bingxin could be happy, Shi Xiuxiu shouted. Her movements were far from as fast as she could imagine. Shi Xiuxiu's body suddenly vanished from where she was. When she reappeared, she was already behind her. She was obviously in midair, and Hao Bingxin's coordination with her star beast should have been superior. However, she did not know the reason, but Hao Bingxin nevertheless clearly felt this place was Shi Xiuxiu's home advantage. This elder sister is not easy to face. Hao Bingxin's heart was somewhat timid. Her body suddenly stopped in midair. Shi Xiuxiu grabbed magnificent star Hao Bingxin by the hair with one hand. With a pull and fling, her entire person already flew backwards. The pitiful girl brandished her sword to attack, turning pale and powerless under Shi Xiuxiu's speed. She could only fly up and down according to Shi Xiuxiu's will. Her body suddenly spun in midair. After yielding away to Yi Futa's flying swords, Shi Xiuxiu evidently had no interest at all in facing a star master. Her right fist fiercely waved, and an enormous suction was transmitted. She completely did not give Hao Bingxin the chance to respond. With her body in the air, Shi Xiuxiu's legs flipped like lightning, instantly kicking several times in succession. The huge howling wind was fully in the air, and a crisp impact resounded. Hao Bingxin was forcibly raised by Shi Xiuxiu's bullying attack power. One final dark technique. Wolf howls 10,000 li, 12, all her movements instantly froze. Hao Bingxin was surprisingly propped up. Bingxin. Yi Futa was worried. His flying swords knocked aside the goose feather heavenly wolf, and a 7 feathers fan appeared in his hand. Just as Shi Xiu was about to speak, the goose feather heavenly wolf roared at this time. The girl sharply sensed danger. Go! Just at this moment, a bolt of lightning smashed into Shi Xiuxiu from the sky. The girl only felt her whole body shatter into pain. Suddenly, she lost consciousness, yet the goose feather heavenly wolf forcibly flapped its wings, held Shi Xiuxiu in its jaws, and immediately became a ray of white light that disappeared into the horizon. Damn it, we let her escape again. 7 figures appeared. They were the White Tiger's 7 spirit stars. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.